Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire Podcast, where we're a little late, but we're right on time with material. Trust me. I got a star-studded lineup right here. We've got people coming in from E3, some that haven't spoke about E3, some we can't wait. And actually, I got one guy I'm going to put on the hot seat because we haven't had him on CrossFire since he's obtained the enemy console. So we're going to talk to that individual as well. But let me start with the one, the only Captain Starburst. Crap Gamer, how are you tonight, brother?
What's up, man? I'm glad that I'm back and the show is back, and you got a lot of people in here, man. I'm like, damn, look at this lineup. You don't even need me, but
I'm excited for a night like tonight because all I got to do is really pretty much just call on the person. These people all speak so well. So this is a night that I actually brought the entire vino. The bottle's in here. I brought the whole bottle in here.
Yeah, it's like crap on Xbox Nation. Like, I just get to sit back and not do shit.
He does, right? That's so true, especially when he calls me in. It's like when he calls his closer in the seventh inning.
This is like, what I said. Look, on Xbox Nation this past Wednesday, right? When Mooch comes in at 9, I said this afterwards, it's the equivalent of like the old WWF wrestling days where like the Ultimate Warrior would come in and start tag teaming and like just start kicking everybody. Like that was Mooch. He comes in and starts clotheslining people, like doing his little pose, like like,
you know what? It's you're honestly you're right. But when I came in and did that, you do feel out of sorts when you jump in an hour in because you don't know where you've been. You don't know what people have talked about. You kind of lose a little bit of your senses. So getting there right on time is huge. So I appreciate you liking what I did on Wednesday, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it felt a little out of sorts. So
you did a good job though. It's always happened. It's different to host a show than it is to be on a show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot more stressful to host a show.
Because you don't speak that enough, crap. That's 110%.
I did, although those that do think that it's I went on this a couple of big rants during the show. So I mean, me and Colt did. So yeah, it was a good show. And but I love it, man. It's always good to be back here on Crossfire, and then tonight, obviously, doing some streaming as well. So it's going to be a fun night.
Well, you know, crap, you're doing the outros and the intros. I appreciate that. This is the longest intro. We have the longest intro and outro in podcast history. Guinness called me last week.
Normally, I'm pretty quiet about that shit, but yeah, I wanted to let everybody know we're streaming some good shit.
It's going to be great. It is going to be fun as hell. Let me go down and introduce my West Coast brother who was on West Coast time, southbound and down. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Is there any other time though?
Man, you know the East Coast.
You know West is the best.
Coast.
Oh God.
Are you fucking East Coast?
Hashtag bring E3 East. Start it up, folks. Start it up.
Never.
We got a great center.
There's too much humidity.
It's a lot of humidity. It is a lot of humidity, but it's a lot of truth serum out here. Okay, the truth will be told.
Come on, man. People don't want to buy 4K TVs around here. You know.
Oh, believe me. Oh, please, Southie. Let me get through this lineup. Let me get through this lineup.
Well, hey, back to the intro. It's always
back to the intro. Thank you for being here. Bro.
It's always beautiful being here on Crossfire. Friday.
Thank you, Southbound. Always good to have you, bro. One of the usual suspects. The Governor GKB. What's up, buddy? How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How's everybody? It's a star-studded lineup tonight, man. It's going to be some crazy debates, I think, going to be going on. So I can't wait to get into that shit.
Yeah, this has got the possibilities of being heated. So, we'll see. Clowns, are you here?
I am here. What's up, guys?
Clowns is here, everybody, from Four Guys with Quarters. What's up, buddy? How are you tonight? And thanks for being here.
Pretty good. I had to go around the neighborhood, crush some leaves, make sure I was here on time.
I love it. We were giving Clowns some shit. I'm like, Clowns is never here on time. But I do have to admit something. All of my cousins, everybody right from Italy, not one person. When they say I'll see you at 7 o'clock, they don't usually show up till 8:30. So Clowns is actually early on Italian time.
Hey, but they bring the good cookies, right?
Well, they bring the good cookies and they bring the super sot and they bring a little bit of that hard Neapolitan bread, which a lot of people in the audience are like, what the fuck is he talking about?
It's Italian.
Right.
God bless America. God bless Italy. But no further. This show won't be the show that you guys will remember in 2 hours without the next guy. Rand, I'll be there. Rand, what's up, buddy? Thanks for coming into Crossfire tonight.
Well, thanks for having me again, Mooch. And contrary to what South said, the only time that matters is Central Time.
There's something you'd never hear, but I'm going to go ahead.
Nobody ever cares about Central Time.
No,
it's even forgotten about. It's even forgotten about when when TV shows are aired. They're like, oh, by the time it's Central,
Yeah. It's not as late as the East Coast, but it's not as early as the West Coast.
It's kind of the best of both worlds, right, Rand?
It is.
Well, it is. You're in the middle, so I mean that's pretty much what it is. You're just.
Do you guys all do this? And I should wait until I get through my intros. But every time I see Rand's name pop up on Xbox when he gets online, I'm always like, damn, this lucky bastard. It's like 11:30 for me, right, on a Tuesday. I'm like, it's only 10:30 for him. He can do whatever he wants. I feel like that hour is like so huge that you get that hour over us. It is a big deal. And then I think about
isn't Central Time always second whenever anybody posts it? It's always like any TV show, movies, or anything that's aired. It's always Central. Then it's like
7 Central.
See, I don't think I think She-Wolf is right, but that's right 15 years ago. Now it's like 11 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Pacific. For some reason, the Pacific Coast has taken over. Just because they get 75 degrees and 50 SPF all day doesn't mean that we should be ignored in this country. I don't know. For some reason, can you feel the hate, South? Can you feel it?
Nah, you know it's beautiful. Hate on.
So great. So great. Well, and this woman needs absolutely no introduction. She does more Mixer than Mike Ibarra. What's up? How you doing?
Hey, Mike Ibarra. That's funny. He actually comes into my Mixer, so.
Oh, see,
that must be nice.
He actually hosted me once. He actually hosted me once. So
he came in when we were playing PUBG the other night. Too.
Yeah.
I wish I could be non-toxic and have people host my Mixer.
Do you even get on Mixer, bro?
Yeah. Do you
even Mixer, bro?
Half a time I did.
He has Mixer, but he never uses Mixer. So tonight is going to be interesting because there is some Titanfall 2 talk tonight.
Oh God,
man! Oh, dude!
And there's Titanfall 2, and I'm going to be positive about it. What's up?
If you're not happy about this Titanfall 2 news, then there's something wrong with you.
I'm happy. These are tech specs, but let me get. How about this intro? Huh? This is such a great cast. The intro. Everybody in the audience right now is standing up in their homes, clapping already. This is great. Let me see. The man, the myth, Mr. 11,000 on Twitter. Tim Dog, what's up, buddy? I don't know if it's your first. It's not your first time, but it's been a while. Welcome back to Crossfire.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I just got back pretty much last week and ready to talk Xbox. This is my first pod. I'll be here for a little and give some impressions. Very happy to be here.
And you know what we do, guys? Just so you know,
the only motherfucker that'll be at Malibu Beach and not be looking at the view, the ocean, the waves. He's looking at his fucking phone. He's on Twitter.
That's what he does, though. He's Tim Dog.
He's like, this motherfucker just said something about Xbox. I'm going to show him.
Romantic and shit, at the beach and everything, and he's getting all jealous. He's like, you're just supposed to be on Twitter all day.
Well, come on. Let's be honest. The sun's going to be there the next day. The beach is going to be there the next day. They both don't go anywhere, but Twitter is always in motion.
Very good point.
But how often do you get to come hang out at Malibu Beach?
I've seen all of California, so I mean I know all about California. So
that's so great. That's so good. Listen, let's start with a hot topic right now. Someone brought it up. I was going to do that one second, but I think it's worthy of talking about it. We've known since E3 ended that we knew Phil came out, especially his Giant Bomb interview, which I thought he handled very well with Jeff. I can't stand third-person shooters, Gertzman, and he said something along the lines of, "We gave the box to the developers with the tools in hand to give them the creative and technical ability of X," meaning not just the power of X, but X, do what you will with this thing and make it a great game. And here we are, Titanfall 2, Respawn comes out and says, and you know, crap, I'm going to pass the mic to you because you have the actual numbers and I saw your video, but they said something along the lines of they're running this at 6K, 60 frames. Of course, it's going to get dialed back, but
hold on. I can actually quote exactly. Okay, so what was actually going on was he was playing the game War Games, and he noticed that it came up as 32p, and it was supposed to be the 6K. But he does say that it is not always going to be at that. It is obviously going to render at the 4K because it will simply downsample to whatever resolution the X. I guess Scorpio. I'm going to stick with Scorpio because I like that name better. It is going to, down to whatever the resolution on the Scorpio 4K is outputting. And he just noticed that at some spots during that game,
like when you're in a fucking room,
rendering.
It's just black and nothing's going on. Yeah, sure, it's going to render up to 6K. They use dynamic resolution and all that kind of stuff. It's not unheard of, but it's not going to be like full on running everything.
No. Here's the thing though. The PS4 Pro could only topped out at 1440p on this 60 frames. That's as top as it gets. The Xbox One X obviously much better. And this basically blows a complete hole in that whole Destiny 2 can't do 60 frames bullshit narrative. This game running at any point in time, what doesn't matter what's going on.
Destiny 2 like not running? I mean, they're only doing that because it's across all platforms. The PC does run at 60K, so
I know that's what I'm saying though. It's complete bullshit that it's not running 60 or give you a 60 option. Same thing with Anthem. They confirmed Anthem to be 60 FPS as well. So again, those like to me, that's super impressive. Anybody that was doubting the power of the box.
Anthem like is a good point of like where I was talking about like with this whole like resolution thing. Like they're doing checkerboarding, so whatever the resolution base is, 1440, 1800, doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day. They're like checkerboarding is like fantastic and great implementation, but they're doing the frame rate, and that's such a freaking. Why is not everybody else doing that? Like I just don't understand.
Well, what was interesting about the Anthem stuff, even when Digital Foundry tested it, they're like, yeah, they're saying they're going to checkerboard it, but what we have here is actual native 4K. Like the demo was in native 4K.
Let me do this since we only have this gentleman for so long. Tim, let me just tap your shoulder for a second. Here's the thing. You're hearing what people are saying. You've heard this throughout Twitter. I mean, we even know you were on Twitter very much during E3. Was there anything when you talked to Aaron or Phil and that you saw that like there was a little bit of like, it was talked about I think towards the ends of E3 week because Giant Bomb touched on it. Like, what's your take personally? And did you hear anything on is Sony holding back the Xbox One X a little?
Not naming names, I heard that there's possibly parity clauses definitely could be true, more or less on the frames per second. But, you know, talking to a bunch of people, if that goes on, it's not sustainable because, you know, if you're going to be bound by a marketing deal, sooner or later is going to catch up to you. And you're playing with fire when you're basically taking, you know, devs are artists, when you're taking that art pen out of their hand just because you have money deal on the table. And if that becomes known or if it becomes apparent, it really looks bad on the developer itself. So even if there are cases of maybe a clause here or there or an unsaid clause because you really get into a legal part if you actually wrote that down on paper. But let's say there's an unwritten rule or there's an unspoken agreement. It's going to be few and far between because there's a lot of risk in it, and there's also there's a lot of implications there. So
there are.
Personally, I don't think that it's going to be a problem. I think that you might have some titles that they kind of didn't maybe put the whole 100% in for whatever reason. Right. But the thing about X and what I've gotten from many people, engineers and everything, that they built this system not only with power in mind but also development in mind. So you hear these things like Age of Exile, I think was two hours to get up and running 4K 60.
Path of Exile.
I'm sorry. And you heard other things like a guy in one room did Forza 7 in a day and a half. It just shows you that they really streamlined the process for the mid-console refresh. This is a first of its kind. So they went into this with that mindset to see how they can make the Xbox One S games better and do it with ease. So, and you see all these enhancements, how they just keep coming out of the woodworks. It's because it's easy. It's easy for development. So I think the biggest thing I took away from all the other stuff was that developers are extremely happy with this system. Yes. They're really it's not hard to develop for.
And Timmy, remember, that of course, a lot of people seen that picture of Doc on his, hands and knees, proposing to Aaron. But remember at the time when we're all sitting there talking, and Phil and Aaron started to say something, and then they're like, I had to shut up real quick. So I still think there's more to be announced when it comes to the One X. Did you get the same idea when they're like, we can't talk about that? Well, we all look at each other like, you fucking killing us. Come on, you can't do that to us.
Aaron also said that today too. He said that there are games that aren't announced, and I came away from E3 with a lot of fears, kind of that first party development a little quelled. It came away a little happy in that regard. I came away pretty much happy with everything I heard. There wasn't really much negativity, but for the development cycle, it really seems like a home run, and I think that's what we're seeing with all these developers coming out, you know, even as She-Wolf pointed out, it's not 6K, it's downsampled or super sampled. It might hit it up, you know, when you're looking at the sky and not doing anything, whatever.
Right.
But the fact is that the developers are finally getting it in their hand, and not to say the XDK is not even finalized yet. So they're getting this thing that is not even finalized, and they're like, holy shit.
Also, Tim, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that last gig that Mike Ibarra tweeted out was also not in consideration with everything we saw on stage. The developers have had no time with that extra gig of RAM. So, you know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. You know, so here's what you're saying. So in layman's terms, so all you folks out there, Tim, I completely caught what you, I was picking up what you were putting down.
Dumb it down.
But really, the dumb it down is like, for all you guys that are Italian in the audience will understand this. It was the equivalent of when you used to have to make it on the actual stone versus now when you go and make a pizza, they made a screen you fill, you throw it in there, and boom, a pizza comes out in 6 minutes. My point being is, right, Tim,
so, okay, so that's the Italian version. Now, do you have like an American?
An American version? Yes, I do. Where they used to use actual ground beef, now they use that pink slime at McDonald's. No, but to get back to gaming real quick, I think what Tim's saying is, and this is why you saw all that the peacocking going on from Phil and all those guys. They have got a console now that the developers will just flock to because it's so easy to develop for. No, go ahead, Shewell.
My only issue, though, like, this is great that this console can do that, and it is amazing the power that is going to come out from this console. But for developers to come out, like how Titanfall did, saying that, you know, we saw the 6K. We literally just heard about 4K. Like, why are we pushing out a 6K now and putting this into social media?
I can tell you why. In 5 years from now, they want 8K in home.
No. It has nothing to do with 8K or 6K. What it had to do with was showing was. Well, all it had to do with was them pointing out that this thing's powerful. It was kind of maybe taking some shots across the bow as well at Activision, because if you look at what Titanfall devs are doing, they have and EA have a much closer relationship with Microsoft as opposed to Sony with Activision.
I think Mooch might disagree with that with Titanfall after.
Well, listen, I got news for you guys.
You can sit there and do that, but look, these guys are out there going, hey, guess what? We've got this shit running at this thing. Like, it's an extremely powerful thing, and the people on NeoGAF were flipped the fuck out about it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and it's cool. But like I said, where was it running 6K? And at the same time, we all know the power and this, that, and the other, and it's for a certain player base and all that kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, they don't really need to be saying 6K or anything to that regard at all, because all it does is just set expectations that a console really isn't going to hit.
Well, I mean, listen, GKB, I think you're playing. GKB is definitely playing the safe card and saying, listen, why go out there and win the fight? But Crap, I do understand what you're saying as well. What Crap's saying is that, here's the thing, though, GKB, the dev coming out and saying this, especially Respawn, which we all know that they went through the whole green discs matter. You know, they went through that whole fiasco, right? And, you know, with them going through that and getting slapped on the wrist with the PR and this and that, and they can say whatever they want about podcasters and this and that, but realistically, that was a bad move on their part. For a dev to come out and make this claim, this is a big thing for Microsoft because it's a good thing. It's saying the power does lie in the box. Do I think they should have done that? Is it reality? No, I mean, GKB makes a point. It's not reality.
I mean, he even said it in his interview too, and he was like, you know, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm probably going to get crucified later on.
Right.
Because he knows that's what's going to happen. Because
absolutely.
Because he knows it's going to stir up the fanboys and stuff like that. But I like the fact that he's talking about this because you have people questioning the box as it is.
Right.
Oh, well, it's only doing dynamic. This Project Cars says
like, let the fucking games do the talking, bro. Like, I don't care what this fucking dev says. Put the fucking game out and let's see what it does. Period.
Well,
I think there would have been more to stand on, though. There would have been more to stand on if he actually posted, like, say, you know, an image or even like a small clip showing it at that 6K. Because like GKB said, you know, you're putting something at really high expectation when there's a lot of hate against Microsoft.
I disagree, though. You're not really setting expectations high. You're actually putting the bar low. Because if you're saying,
6K, we're putting the bar low?
No. You come out saying, yeah, we're just kind of fucking around in the lab and we hit 6K. Well, then, you know, if you're promising 4K native, then that should be easy, right?
Right, that's the way I looked at it. If you're talking 6K, then it should be no problem. It's like when you call somebody ahead in a restaurant, you're like, I have 100 people coming. They're like, well, sir, and they start hemming and hawing. Oh, my God. Then all of a sudden you call back later and you're like, I only have 75. And they start hemming and hawing. You're like, dude, I dropped it by 25 people. What do you want me to do?
My rebuttal to that is, again, where did that happen? Was it just in a room where it was dark, no alpha effects, no particles, all this other
Southbound,
stuff?
let me defend
Warzone.
Let me defend GKB here for a second. I'm starting to treat devs like mall Santa Clauses, okay?
They can say whatever they want.
To me, they just are like figments of our imagination, because here's the problem. You know, back when we all started podcasting and this and that, I remember when devs quotes used to come out, and man, we used to run with those on podcasts and run with them hard. We had every right to. Right, but nowadays, like you just said, and like you gave, like this guy's playing in a dark room with a monocle on, and he hit 6K. That's great. But like what I'm saying is, like, these devs are all coming out of the woodwork now. Like pretty soon there's a Mooch. I told Crap, I go, Mooch and Crap makes pinball, so we can just be devs and we can just talk about things.
Well, to be fair, this is actually a bigger dev on the Respawn team.
Absolutely.
And exactly what he says was, he was playing. There were times on War Games, which is a game mode, and he was testing it where it was rendering at 3200 6K internally.
Right.
The resolution is dictated by the GPU load, so obviously there's no guarantees at how often it renders at that particular resolution, but it was always above 4K. And when you think about the fact that it maxed out on the PS4 Pro.
Well, yeah, he does say, but essentially we're using 100% GPU at all times.
But it's gonna be a 4K 60 game.
Absolutely.
Right.
I don't think
That's what South is saying. South's saying they mentioned 6, but realize they're going to be able to
to me, it sounds better. Like it's a cool buzz thing because people. You know, people were doubting it, so that's why I think it comes along at a good time, because everybody was like, "Oh man, I don't know, I can't do Project Cars or this person or Assassin's Creed." They said it's not gonna work on there.
I guess I would have just preferred to see it come from a different game than Titanfall 2, for the fact that that one had such bad media when it first came out to begin with how it was treating Microsoft when they had the marketing rights to them.
Well, see, but doesn't that make it even better though? Because you're referring to
I guess from that point, yes.
Yeah, because it was a dev that kind of knocked Microsoft. Now they're saying, well, fuck, they just blew the doors off the house. You know what I mean?
No, before they were
saying, I don't like the color of the house, and the trim looks kind of ugly. Now they're like, fuck, I can't even close the goddamn door because the fucking AC just blows the fucking windows out.
So great.
Jeremy
like here, by the way. I'm sorry, I kept to interrupt. Jeremy, are you here?
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
His microphone's probably screwed.
Okay, well,
he keeps unmuting and remuting.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave him out. Crap, go ahead and finish. I just didn't want him to hang there.
I totally forget where I was at, but if I remember,
sorry, buddy.
Hop in.
Hey, Crap Gamer, Squirrel.
Yeah, I don't remember where the hell I was at.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
You were just talking about how the resolution goes, up and down. I mean, one of the things that I took away from it was that, usually the way games usually were made, where the resolution set and the frame rate is variable. Now they're and a lot of devs are doing this, is they're making the resolution variable and they're trying to lock that frames per second, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like at the end of the day, like I don't care about the resolution. I don't give a shit if it did 8K. I wanted to do 60 frames per second on all the damn games. That's all I really care about.
Yeah,
and
but Phil made a good point about that today too, where he just said, no pressure on the devs. You can't force them to do anything. Which
bullshit.
Sorry. Well, no, I mean he did say that. If you do I'm not I think 60 is better all the time. But if you watched I watched the Don, he did a video about it, and he made some sense in that, the fact that you can't really pressure these devs or force them into doing something that's not really going to work out well for you. And that also comes with the whole
said no PC
thing.
guy ever.
I know, but that's why they're on PC.
Well, no, you also hold on, GKB.
Come on, Crap.
Now, I'm actually against GKB on this one, because you can't pressure the devs. Like, yes, you do pay for their games, but
I'm not saying pressure them, but if they're making
no.
a PC port and they're making a PC version and it's running at higher frames or unlocked frame rates, don't give me this bullshit that it's hurting the fucking art and other nonsense, because I'll fucking throw that shit.
Well, no, not the art,
some people,
some
of them maybe want their games to run or at a specific thing or whatever, and then if you have a PC that can just boss hog it up, they can do that. But I mean, for the most part, if you're super into FPS, then I guess
short of a game like The Order, which you could definitely see that was something that was going for a cinematic play.
Yeah, like 24 FPS or whatever.
Right. It's short of a game like that. I tend to lean a little bit more towards GKB side, where it's like, we're supposed to be making gradual progression with everything, right? We're doing it with TVs, we do it with phone processors, and now we're doing it with consoles. And we all know that the progression forward is 60 frames. It's the next it's in the evolution, right? It's in the evolutionary chain for PC and console gaming. So here we are. We now have a machine that we know is capable of 60 frames, but yet we're leaving this to the devs. And I've said this a lot, guys, and by all means, Rand, jump in because you're big on this with the developers. My pitch is we've given the developers too much power. That's my problem in this generation is now we're like, you do this. Listen, everything from every part you buy at Home Depot to every menu item details. When you order something, when you order chicken parm, it tells you right under, even though you know what's in it, it tells you every ingredient that's in it underneath it if you go to the right restaurant. But my point is that like with a developer right now, we're like, here's a box, do whatever you want with it. Well, most people always work to the lowest common denominator. That's just human nature. So is that a good idea, Rand? I mean, do you see where I'm coming from where we should have stats out there and specs?
I mean, it is a good idea. I mean, I guess it all depends. Like, I think the bigger games will try to strive for parity. But, like, when you notice, like, the smaller ones, like Ark and Path of the Exile and stuff, it seems like they're the ones more willing to take the chances with the hardware where, like, the bigger games will kind of aim for that. Do least work as possible because even though there's millions of dollars in this project, we don't have that much time to afford to get the Pro and the Scorpio versions up. The interesting thing about the Titanfall 2 stuff, like to me, wasn't that like it wasn't like he was like bragging or anything like the system was hitting 6K. If you look at like what he was responding to, like the actual quote he was responding to was like how super sampling makes the game look better. Because the guy was talking about he only has a 1080p TV and yada yada, and he says, well, even if you have a PS4 Pro, which runs at 1400p, they're super sampling on that game. It makes your image on the 1080p TV even better. And then he went into the tangent about, hey, when we're doing this stuff in war games, the Titanfall 2, sometimes it's at 6K. And that makes the game even look more incredible on a 4K TV on the Xbox One X. And then he went and clarified because like I put it in my video today, he's got this huge like book where he clarified like everything. And they're going for a variable frame rate or variable resolution over with a locked frame rate. Sometimes it renders above 4K, and then he even mentions sometimes it renders below 4K. It all depends on like what's going on screen. He said when it hit 6K, GKB, he said he was killing grunts. So I mean, I don't know exactly like what that entails, but he said that's what he was doing.
Well, you're just killing AIs.
Well, yeah, but then sometimes when it was under 4K, he's like, well, you had 10 Titans on the field, and obviously like it couldn't be at 4K, so it went below.
That's what I'm saying. It's like where was this context? That's all. At the end of the day, I think even Rand, I think even you don't even give a shit about resolution.
No, I don't. I don't care about resolution. I find the whole talk about this stuff just tiring. I prefer frame rate. I prefer a lock. If I can't get 60 frames, I prefer at least lock it at 30. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want a variable frame rate because the TV is going to upscale it to 4K, and I have a 4K TV, so the hardware and the TV are going to upscale it up regardless. So, I mean, the frame rates, I don't know. It's just kind of like, hey, the Xbox One X can do 6K, but it really can't because it's only going to output 4K.
I'd be happy just to never ever see screen tearing ever again.
Right, but and yeah, that's coming. That's coming south. But, the other thing is that Tim was talking about all week during E3, and he wrote me a couple of DMs. He's like, Mooch, you really got to see Gears 4. And when you see what I'm talking about, he goes, the thing about it is, all right, so it sucks for Microsoft that everybody's tired of resolution as soon as they're the kings of resolution now. But the one thing that I think the X is bringing is, and Tim, can you speak to this a little bit? You got blown away with the textures and the lighting in Gears.
Yeah, this is probably before I go. I'm going to just give you an idea of what, when they put this system to work. Now, I saw the Gears closed door demo. It showed Minecraft, which was very cool. It shows the before and after. It showed Forza 7 with the Dolby Atmos, and it also showed Gears 4 with Dolby Atmos. First of all, the sound is amazing. You'll notice that. But the visuals, I was actually watching with DOA. He's a friend of ours, Rand's like a good friend, and he could attest to it. I was standing up, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like people were like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They showed the level where you're a mech. It's towards the end. And the jump from what I've seen on Xbox One S to what they showed with 4K resolution, 4K textures, 4K assets, longer draw distance, which you really see on that level. They showed new different lighting. People refer to it as God rays. It's when the sun comes down. When I can tell you that was the most visually impressive thing I've seen by far.
When you said that, Tim, that's what I took away from E3. That's what's been in the back of my head. Is it's not so much just the 4K, it's the textures.
Hey, Tim. Can you clear up something I'm sure a lot of people want to know, and I know you got to go, is like there's a lot of rumor going around that Crackdown was shitty, and I've heard that people that were there playing it.
You've been talking to Downer.
Oh, no, I don't want him to chime in.
Who's that?
I want to ask Tim.
I thought it looked fine. To me, Crackdown is it looked like Crackdown on steroids. I think is the best way to. It looked like a fun game. It is. I would call it a tacked on single player. The real guts of that game is going to be on multiplayer. So I would just wait until you see the multiplayer, and I talked to people about that. They're probably going to show at Gamescom before you make your decisions on Crackdown. Now, are they going to release at the same time? It's possible that they don't. We might just get the single player, and then people are going to be like, "What's up with the multiplayer?" That might come at a later date. But from what I could see, is if they can get that game with destructibility like they're talking, it's going to be very impressive. Now, is it a huge AAA, you know, it's what you expect from a Sumo Digital type developer. It's kind of like, in my opinion, you know, we had these games where it was single player and we had the tacked on multiplayer. It's kind of the same case, in my opinion, with this. It's going to be a fun single player. So I think we'll all play it, but the real guts of that game and the real eye-opening shit is when the multiplayer shows. And from what I hear,
the part I'm concerned about that story. The only thing now, because it's been clarified to me by you also in DM, Tim, is that you're saying that there is a possibility. And did you hear this, that the multiplayer would be released on a different date?
That's just my speculation. From what I heard, that the reason why it wasn't shown was because Phil wants games to be shown 6 months out, and that told me that, you know, if they're not showing this game now and they're showing it at Gamescom, there might be a disparity, or there'll be a change in the you know, in the release in that. Now, it very well might be that, you know, you get the single player and there's a beta, and then the official release is out in, you know,
it's going to be
that sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like
that would be a tough fuck. No.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know. That's just
especially for a $60 title. You can't do that.
Well, like I said, I think that we could all say that now and then, but when you see it in action, from what I heard, it's like a
I played it.
No, but I'm saying when you see it in action with the cloud compute, when you see it in action the way I heard it, which somebody who actually saw it, the cloud compute demo, where you see the destructibility, I think that people might change their tune about this game.
I think, like, if you're going into like Crackdown 3 thinking like you're gonna get this graphical powerhouse and all this kind of stuff, you're missing the plot of Crackdown 3.
It's not photorealistic.
No, but it's all about the gameplay with Crackdown. That's where it's at with Crackdown.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised when I seen like IGN and some of these other sites kind of bashing it. Yeah, because I had heard from about 5 people who were there that said the game actually looked really good on the 4K screens and stuff. So
yeah, it did.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Sea of Thieves was another game that I saw on a 4K display, and I can really tell you that game, it definitely jumps above Crackdown 3, and I was really impressed the way that game looked.
Yeah, I think that game's going to be huge because it's so much fun, right, Mooch?
Yes, hashtag fun. You know, listen, look, I will say this much, you know, because I won't be. We already have one downer in the room. I can't have 2, but my whole thing is this with Sea of Thieves. My thing with this is that I think it's going to be a great game. Listen, streaming's new, right? Is it new to the people who have 50,000 followers on Twitch? No, but it's new to the casual streamer and the people that are trying to get up on Mixer, me being one of those people. I think that Sea of Thieves couldn't have picked a better time to come out. This is when streaming is the new podcasting, okay? Streaming is the new couch co-op, because now you're couch co-oping with everybody, okay? So I think that this is a great time for that, because it's a fun game in that retrospect. But at the same time, I don't know if Sea of Thieves has the legs, okay? And a lot of people, crap, you gave me shit for the whole Friday the 13th thing. Here's my defense on that, and I'll tie it into Sea of Thieves. Friday the 13th is a game that I will play on Friday night or Saturday night during a community game night or a Mooch and Crap stream edition or something like GKB and She-Wolf stream. And they're like, hey, we're playing this. Or you want to hop in and we'll stream? Absolutely. But you know what? I haven't gotten an invite from anybody that loves Friday the 13th on a Tuesday evening. Like, no one's just picking up. It's a stream game.
Well, there's
and
a
I
reason
think
for
that
Tuesday.
No,
Bro. We
you
watch a
almost
constant
have-
corner.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go, GKB. But I mean, a great plug.
You have to be playing it first. Like I noticed, like if I accidentally clicked on it earlier today when I was going to Dead by Daylight, and I started getting DMs. Oh, are you playing? I'll play with you. Like I had to literally click on it first. It's not like I just got like invites. You know, like hey, I'm playing it. Do you want to come play this game? I don't ever see that like on Twitter or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that, like, it's just that, like, when I scroll through and I think all of us do this, and if I'm the only one, call me out. When a lot of people that are on YouTube is that I always look at my friends and see what everyone's kind of jamming out to, what they're playing, what they're not playing, and I don't see anybody on my list playing Friday the 13th until you get to like Friday night late, and right next to their little Friday the 13th is a little mixer.
Only your stalker. No,
you guys. No,
you got stalkers too. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But I mean, like, that's what it is. You know, every time you see Friday the 13th, you see the little stream emblem next to it. It's because it's a stream game, and that's not a knock. That's not a knock. It is what it is, right? It's built for that. So that's my feeling on Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves has that great potential to be an amazingly fun game to watch people stream and play as a streaming gamer, because you can put your stuff forward in that light. But I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, Crap, do you see what I'm saying? Like that's my defense behind these games.
I see what you're saying. I just think for me personally, just coming from a competitive kind of background in gaming and online and stuff, that appeals to me too. Like I have a lot of friends that are like, when's that game releasing? You know what I mean? They want to play it. And I think that, man, if Microsoft were super smart, and maybe I kind of changed my tune on this, I would put that shit in the preview program ASAP.
I have been saying that since day one.
Sure.
Yeah. It's something that like Fable Legends would have benefited from. Like there's a lot of these games that, you know, if they want to keep in beta, like by the time beta is done, everybody's going to have played it already.
Yeah, we played it for a year.
You know, at first I was like, maybe that wouldn't be a great idea. But now you hear that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds hit 4 million copies in preview. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the truth. I'm telling you right now, when that comes out on Xbox, everybody's gonna stop playing whatever the fuck they're playing and play that game. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I watched you guys stream a little bit yesterday. Just like that you guys were playing with keyboard and mouse though, right? Like there's
no, you can use controller.
Well, you can use a controller. It's not that good.
You can, but you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, like I mean, it looked like something I'm gonna give it a whirl. Definitely when it comes to Xbox for fucking sure. I mean, just to see what all the hype and stuff is about. Because like I said, I was watching your guys' stream yesterday.
It's competitive. You want to be competitive? That is a game that is very competitive.
So
well, people have been showing their progress. Like if you know the end game results, you know, all over Twitter. You see, you know, winner, chicken dinner. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. It's a hugely popular game, and it's funny when they announced it at E3. I was sitting there, and I think I leaned over and told Inferno. I said, "Oh, now we know why Lawbreakers isn't on Xbox."
That's right.
Yeah, Cliffy B. Anyway, dude, that dude has no respect for Xbox fans. Like,
he did it again. He did it again where he came out with his comment, and he's like, you know, whatever they call it, the Xbox One XO.
Yeah, like he's like the Xbox fanboys.
He's
they
washed up.
South. I know. I saw you kissing ass to the guy, right? But this is the bottom line. He gives the interview, right? He gives the interview, and then he's like, yeah, those Xbox fanboys come at me like, we built you with Gears, which is fucking accurate as fuck. And then you turn your back on him, and he's like, well, I got these devs that I gotta pay. You
can't talk about your starving devs when you have a $2.3 million palace you floated.
I got these devs. Okay, I'm good with that, right? He's just going where he's going who has the most install base. I get that. So shut the fuck up at that point. Right, but what's he say? Yeah, you know, we're not against bringing it to the Xbox XOXO or whatever the fuck. Like he just totally doesn't stop.
He does that shit. He does that stuff on purpose, guys. Come on.
Absolutely, Jared.
You guys feed into that like
he's not doing nothing that Crap wasn't doing with this fucking.
I understand that.
He's doing
that. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, as far as I'm concerned, man, I don't really give a shit about his game.
Yeah, no, I mean,
a lot of people do, a lot of people don't.
Either way, though, when it
Nobody's
comes
talking
to
about that
like
shit.
games like Sea of Thieves or even PUBG, unless you have a large, like a really large gamer base that is going to stay playing these games, they will not go very far. Like
PUBG's
they
like
will
4.5 million sold
but that's
now.
on
Like,
PC, yes. But
yeah, that's fucking huge for PC. Holy
it
shit.
is. But when it comes to like, unless they do crossplay, like Xbox may be different because we have already established that Xbox gamers are a bit different than PC gamers. PC gamers, you know, they tend to play games for a long period of time, like MMOs and all that kind of stuff.
They also abandon shit really quick too.
Yes,
So the
but
fact that
Xbox
they're
gamers,
gravitating
though,
is big.
when it comes to Xbox gamers, I've noticed, like just from all of you guys who all game, soon as a new game comes out, you stop the game you've already played and then you go to the next one.
To be
unless you're
fair
going
about
through
us on the
achievements.
panel, like except
it's
for
in
like maybe
general, though.
Ran, we all do like reviews and fucking get a
Yeah,
shit.
I got to agree. I got to agree with GKB. Like, if crap throws that at me sometimes, like, well, you're not playing that anymore. I'm like, dude, I have to. It's like I feel like I have to play everything
But
because
I
if you don't,
understand
I
that,
get
but-
hit with the "you didn't try it, don't knock it" bit.
But I
You know,
understand
so-
that. But you also have to
GKB,
think
like
about,
that.
like, you also have to think about the fact that, like, most gamers, that's what they do, though. As soon as a new
but,
game
like,
is coming,
I
they
agree
go
with
to
you,
the
Shiro,
next one.
to an extent, but with PUBG, I think that's like a different beast on its own. It's going to be kind of like Call of Duty to a lot of people, where they could just constantly play that game and grind.
And I
with
hope
the loot
so, but
system
we-
and the crates and all that kind of stuff, like this is going to be a game that's going to.
Okay, so since I was going to go into a different subject, but let's talk about Players Underground for a second. I think this thing stays Xbox exclusive, PC exclusive.
Oh, according to the media, they said they said that they could come to the PS4. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
I
well,
think
the media will never not let the PS4 have anything. Like Halo 5 is coming to the PS4 any day now. I mean, there's a lot of
it's
things.
the same thing they say about Lawbreakers, but I seriously doubt Lawbreakers.
Guys, you
comes to
remember
Xbox
Sunset
One.
Overdrive coming to PS4 soon? Rise any day now to PS4.
Dead Rising 3, Dead Rising
3. Don't forget about Dice, and 4 will be there any minute. My point being is that, like, why is it? And here's where I get angry. This is where I get a little upset. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to say. This is the biased shit that I read, and I can't believe. And Xbox people, stop defending the media here, okay? They're like, well, it could happen. A meteor could hit Texas tomorrow. Anything's possible, people. What I'm saying to you is, I know, right? Well, I was trying to leave everybody in this chat alone, Nobody's from Texas. So my point being is that, like, we have to understand something. So the minute that Lawbreakers came out and they're like PS4, yes, I understand Cliffy B came out and made his comment that it could come to Xbox One, which opens up that world. But like the media, before he opened up and said that, they're like, no, that's it. It's PS4. PS4 bust. Now, you have this game that comes out for Xbox, and the minute that it's announced, just like the same thing with Rise of the Tomb Raider, Phil didn't even get off the stage. The other Phil, he didn't even get off the stage over in Gamescom when he announced it. And they're like, when's it coming to PS4? When? You said holiday. You said, it's like, you can't even have anything be an Xbox exclusive without the media shoving it down our throats that it's coming to PS4 soon. But when PS4 gets something, nobody's talking. What's that game that's coming out in August? Hellblade. When's Hellblade coming to Xbox? Coming to Xbox soon, right? It's got to be coming to Xbox. 4K? I want 4K. When's it coming to
I
Xbox?
heard rumors back and forth at that game.
But nobody says anything.
There was like just a couple people who, because I'm actually really excited for this game. This is actually one of the games I'm looking for. Yeah. And I was reading a lot of different articles, but they were minor, like journalists who were, going out saying, hey, we did hear that this is supposed to be coming to, the Xbox. It's only a timed exclusive. But you don't hear like IGN and them covering that. You just hear the smaller ones that are doing that. And, that is definitely a great point that a lot of like journalists do, in like the higher ones, of course, like IGN and all them. They say, no, PlayStation is all about PlayStation, which is like obviously a bad thing. But at the same time, we still, like, when it comes to PUBG and stuff, we do know that Phil did say that he's not going to hold games just to the console. Yeah. He wants all gamers to be able to play things.
Here's the thing with PUBG, right? I think it's going to be a while before it even hits PlayStation. I think it will eventually go there for sure.
It'll be a year.
I think it's going to hang in it's going to hang in the preview program for a good while, and that's because like even on the PC, like people running like 1080 SLIs have issues running this game at like 60 FPS and like high resolutions. It's just not very well optimized, so it's going to need a lot of time, in development and stuff, and in the preview program to really work out a lot of the bugs for consoles.
And Sony doesn't have a preview program. So.
Yeah, they don't have one, so it's not going until it's good. So.
Yeah,
right. So it'll be a while. But I mean, I was a little bummed when I saw the announcement that game was coming out this fall. I got pretty excited, and then I was like, "Oh, we're getting in the preview program this fall." so I can look forward to playing it and falling through the earth every other round.
Oh, no, it's not like that. But
Is it not that bad?
No, you don't fall through or anything like that. It's just, graphical. It's just all open world, man. There's like no, inside
It's
or
not a
anything.
graphical.
It's similar to the DayZ type.
It's not a graphical powerhouse, is what they're saying.
It's the
Oh no, it's definitely like if you have the shit to fucking push it, you can. It looks awesome.
I haven't seen it look good though. It's like
because everybody runs it on low, bro, because it's not like optimized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna say, I know Ibarra has a great PC, and I was watching his stream, and his looked like shit too.
I watched Mike's stream, and when I watched it, like Mike was doing a good job of keeping people kind of like into it and explaining what he was doing. He teamed up with somebody, and they were playing. But to me, you know what it looked like? It looked like Battlefield 1 Sans the Dust Cropper.
Well, no, it's the whole
because they're playing
the game is like more of like a Hunger Games. So anyone who's watched the movie Hunger Games, this kind of more what this game is actually based off of. Like,
yeah, but there's 100 people in this huge world. You could be walking around for half a day. You have
no, you're not.
No,
that is okay. You can literally end up landing. Like when you jump out of the plane, you don't know if others are jumping out at the same time. Like you literally, all 100 people are in the plane. And you're driving and you have to click F to jump out. You literally have no idea who else is jumping out at that point in time. And you want to obviously be near a certain area, and because you have to like scavenge, you have to like find all, and as you're going, the circle is always closing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. To Mooch's point about like people and you never find anybody, they systematically make the arena smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're definitely gonna get in there. And
Hunger Games is a good analogy there, then She-Wolf, because they did that as the movie continued. They shrunk down the actual fighting terrain.
And you literally, if you are not in that white line, when that blue line comes, it kills you. Like it starts to slowly kill you. And if you don't get to that white line before your health is, you're dead. Like you're dead.
Those survival games though, right? Like the culling, isn't that sort of like that too?
Yeah, the culling to me looks like the.
I wouldn't say it's
that
survival.
Crash the culling compared to PUBG.
It's not like you have to eat food or anything
to survive. I think the reason why it's so popular is because it's a great system-based game, and the RPG element to it. I think people just gravitate to it. It's going to be great.
I hope so. To be honest with you, I think that and that's the thing, Downer. I think that like it's important that. Like that game is very, very important for Microsoft's whole like push, like because it will be on their console for a long time solo. PlayStation's gonna envy it. It's a game that finally gets people to come over to. We haven't had that yet. That pulls people.
I thought it was a big.
Now, do you guys think it will come?
Yeah, it was a big game.
PS4 will be a time.
Well, that's what we were
I think
just
it's
saying.
going to be
but it's not going to be.
I think what's going to hold it back is the crossplay element to it. Why would you buy it on the PS4 when we can crossplay on PC, the Xbox?
Right, and that
Wait, they're not going to do crossplay with PC, are they?
They haven't announced it yet. I don't believe.
I hope not, considering that's a heavy keyboard and mouse shooter.
No, honestly, okay.
I don't think it would be.
I don't.
It's not going to matter whether like this is literally a game you're either good at or you're not.
Yeah, I agree.
I still think I see a lot of people.
Is there like a level up?
No, you don't level up.
No, so it's basically bare bones. You jump out of the plane, and you got to scatter.
You're all like on the same playing field.
Once you die, you literally start back at the lobby and you literally have nothing again. You're absolutely like nothing. Then you start all over again. You're with like 100 people. You get on the plane, you jump out, you find everything, and you have to try to survive.
I don't know if I like that because I mean, you put a bunch of time. You know what I mean? You want to carry something.
I like games like that because you get a chance to start fresh every time, and it's not like when you look at these other games, right? In Southie, I understand where you're coming from with that, but let's talk about all the other games where people kind of feel left out, right? And South, you were a huge Destiny fan early on. I came into it mid session, right? And I felt like you guys were like, "Oh, Mooch, follow me, dude. You're way behind." And I'm like, in this game, I don't feel like I have to be behind. I think 2-3 rounds, I could be just up to snuff as like someone like GKB who's been playing the preview for way longer. I think that's something that's enticing for a new gamer.
Yeah, it's more about like tactics than really what you have.
Yeah,
you just gotta be smart playing it. That's what I enjoy about it.
Rand, is this your cup of tea?
No, I don't like this type of games, man.
See, I'm dying to get into a game of Rand.
I mean, I'll play it. I mean, I'll play it when it comes out, but like I'm like survival type games like this, like Ark or like The Culling, they just don't do it for me.
But you don't have to. You don't have to survive like that. Like you literally have stamina for like free. You don't lose it. So when you're running, you're running.
Yeah. You don't have to like.
That's what I said.
Not a Zelda situation.
Yeah.
I'll play it when it comes out. When it comes out, I'll make the decision. But I mean, I understand why the game's big, and it's only going to get bigger with console support. I mean, think about it: 4 million copies on just PC is
they made $100 million
good.
bucks.
It's only going to get bigger when it comes on Xbox this year, and even then, you know, when it comes on PlayStation next year, it'll even get bigger. More people play. There'll be no crossplay between systems and PC. Nope. You can guarantee that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to launch in probably game preview. I would guess.
Yeah. Well, they said it would be
September.
Spring 2018 is when the game would release, correct? The full game out of preview?
Okay, so
I don't know about that, but
I don't remember. But look at We Happy Few. That was supposed to release like last year, full game, and it's
based
still
on what I played right now. I would say it
probably won't even come out now.
I don't think it's coming out in spring for preview.
It'll be out before the Xbox One. I'm pretty sure it'll be out before the Xbox One X comes out. Like
the game, like in preview. You think
the game
preview? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be in preview.
So,
man, listen, you guys got to call me. You guys got to call me old school, and I'm sure some people in the chat are going to agree with me. There's just something about getting into preview games. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of like when you dip your finger in the sauce when it ain't ready yet. It's like it's just not good, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know, the problem
9 times out of 10, I will agree with you, Mooch. But on PUBG, man, it's good, bro.
And that's fine, GKB. And let me tell you something. You're saving me on this. You're saving me on this. You alone are saving me on this because I just don't feel like getting in. I don't care about the cost. It's not the $30, $20 for preview. It's not about that. I just
you're talking about like the bugs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't feel like exactly. You know what I mean? You're like someone. There's a rifle. You go to pick it up and your hand goes through a rock.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
It's way better than that, bro.
See, personally, I think the only reason it's still in a form of a beta is because of the fact of like the texture and trying to get like the resolution and all that kind of stuff to like match with it.
Like, they're not big
but,
AAA teams.
Well, they just made $100 million in 13 weeks. They should,
but
they should add some more people.
Overall, like we jump out of planes, we're constantly running into houses, you drive vehicles and everything in this game as well, and we've not once ever had an issue to where like we saw fall through the map, or we're like standing through a building with our gun or something, or we've never had any of those issues.
Yeah.
Well, let me do this. I have a feeling we're going to circle back to this because I do have it somewhere else on my sheet. But before Rand has to, I want to talk to Rand. Did a video. I think Crap did one too. But I watched Rand's because I was really curious when Rand kind of. I watched yours too. My whole thing was this: that I think Rand did a good job of portraying this whole problem that went on yesterday with the Detroit Become Human folks over at Sony. And I think that
I actually haven't covered that yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know if you did or not, but I know Rand did like a long bit on it, and I was glad to see him finally blow the whistle. Because when me and you do it, Crap, let's be honest, you know what I mean? We're always on the lookout for that because we're like usually the only ones saying it, but Rand's been blowing the whistle on this, and that's cool. Rand, what do you think? I mean, this is a jab, and you made a point to say that, and I noticed it. There's like 1,100 people that are following this Twitter account. And it would be one thing if they did this, like you'd said, and the game was out or coming out soon to get attention. This game has no release date. This game has, I understand when I say this, people get upset. I understand it wasn't a CGI, that it was in-game footage, but the game is a CGI with QTEs.
Boring. Three's video of it was boring, so.
Oh, it put people to sleep, and it was 20 minutes. But Rand, what do you think? Because like I said, I'm hoping you stay as long as you can. But what was your take on this? And let the audience know. I mean, this is a desperate act, isn't it? Coming from a Sony Dev.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious because when I first saw the tweet, I started laughing. But at the same time, it's also pretty pathetic.
Yeah, it is.
Think about it. Most of like the games and the companies and the executives, they don't directly reference each other. Even the infamous "this is how you play games on PlayStation" thing didn't mention Xbox once. It's implied, but you don't need to say anything. So
you can read between the lines.
The thing is, like, I expect this from like the Uber fanboys, the guys who take people's heads and put them on gay porn and stuff like that, or
people do that.
Yeah, some of those people do that, or some of the really hardcore on NeoGAF or GameFAQs. So like you expect stuff like that. I expect a little bit more professionalism from
a developer.
Yeah, from a developer. Now, like you said, 1,000 followers. He thought maybe he'd do this. Like Wendy's social media has like been blowing up because the Wendy's Twitter account like attacks other companies.
Yeah,
in a funny
they're
way.
all nuts, man. I got to give them props. They're funny.
Yeah, they attack him in funny ways. But this one's just like, number one, the reason why there's no substance to this tweet and why it's pathetic is because the game doesn't exist, basically. It's vaporware, right?
Right.
It's not coming out till next year. There'd be more substance to it if the game was out and it was like 100 on Metacritic and everybody was praising it. And then you could at least see, okay, well, they're saying it's a great game and Xbox owners can't play it. At least there'd be some merit to it. But it's a follow-up to a game that was kind of timidly received. Yeah. And about all the PlayStation exclusives, it's probably the one that like the lowest on the platform. Like everybody's like, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, God of War, Days Gone, and this game, and then it's like, yeah, I guess Detroit.
Well, Ryan McCaffrey from the Xbox podcast can't wait for Detroit. He's so excited for it.
He's excited. Yeah, he's so excited.
I'm reading it. I'm reading that tweet for the first time. It's pretty funny.
It is.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny, but let me say this much. I would like right now everyone to leave everybody alone then, and don't call us console fanboys. Don't call us anything anymore, because here's the problem. Okay, this is an absolute white glove to the face, because right, it's absolutely ridiculous. We are called fanboys, and we do this and we do that. This is a developer that's fanning the fire of the console war. Like nobody is. If they can do it, and they did it, and I hate to say it, Respawn was playing the game last year when they were pogoing back and forth between both consoles and kind of irking both sides on with the pictures. These guys are all doing it too. Okay,
Phil's response would have only been, I agree. You should get a PS4 to play it. The game looks amazing. We love Sony.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. Good one on us. You know what I mean?
Guys, you guys are forgetting about one thing. What's the one thing that someone does, especially if you're a developer or a publisher or someone in the media? What's the one thing that you can do to make people talk about your game?
Make an ass of yourself.
Drama.
Say you cancel the pre-order of a
drama.
game.
Everybody's talking about it on Twitter, social media.
Sells.
It's free marketing. You guys are marketing this game for free. That's what you're doing.
Right.
Hey,
That's
somebody
true.
has to. That game looks like straight up garbage.
I got news. Yeah, Jeremy.
That's the thing, though. You make a comment, and then other people are like, wow, I can't believe he just said that. And then, of course, guess what? Someone else is going to comment to that. Well, no, they had a right to, and then it goes back and forth.
Right,
And then
and
it's
it goes to
literally
IGN, and it gets clicks, and it goes to GameSpot,
Yes.
and it gets clicks. It's a
It's
snowball
way
effect. It's a
bread.
snowball effect, and you guys play into it perfectly.
Well, the thing about Twitter is the more people that like and comment on it, the higher it gets pushed up in people seeing it and on people's feed.
Jeremy's going with the old, even
Like what
bad
Clippy
news is
did.
good news. Listen, here's the thing, though. And I understand where he's coming from. Jeremy, I hear where you're coming from, but you got to understand something. In this event, I have never met more finical people in my life than gamers. Gamers are so finicky with the way that they are. Like they see something like this, they get turned off and they don't buy it. There was a lot of people like, I'm not buying it now. And it's just because of the jab. And there's no reason to take a jab in this world. And you said we're playing into it. Here's the thing. If we don't talk about these things, these podcasts are going to get real, real lame in a hurry. So, I mean, we've got to talk about this. But in all honesty, people in the industry said that with the Xbox community and how appalled we were at the whole Green Discs Matter issue that came out of Respawn, okay, that bothered people so much. And, there are people that told us that we think that the podcast had an effect on sales. I don't believe that. I think that had nothing to do with it. I think the game just sucked. But I mean, that's me. But I don't think it has anything to do with podcast.
That game was amazing, dude.
Nah, it really did have a bad PR hit for that Green.
Some people say that.
It did. It did.
But I mean, here's the thing.
Would you agree, PR hit or not? It helped it in a way.
No, absolutely not.
And that's my point.
I see what you're saying, Jeremy. In certain circumstances, you're absolutely correct. but in
Right.
certain circumstances,
Exactly.
it's a double-edged
Exactly,
sword.
South. Exactly. And that's my point here. That's where I understand, Jeremy, what you're saying. You're saying any press is good press. That's not true all the case in the gaming world. It's just
But
not.
sometimes it is though, because like it piques
Sometimes.
people's interest when one, how many people didn't even actually know about this game, and now how many people are actually
but She-Wolf,
look at
this
it
is-
because
this is
of
what-
the fact that they see.
She-Wolf, this is what happened after that tweet went out. People were like, what game is that again? Oh, that was the game you went into a coma on when Sony showed it at the E3. Oh, yeah, now I remember that game. Like, nobody cares. This game is so boring that nobody cares.
It's like it'd be one thing if the game was coming out next week, but it doesn't come out until a year from now, a year and a half from
That's the
now.
dumb- Like if you're going to cause drama, you might as well do it around the time of release.
Well, right. At least get like, 'cause there's no point doing it now. Plus, let your game speak for itself. If Detroit
kind of like Far Cry, right? Far Cry 5.
It builds SEO ranking now. The more they talk about it now, it starts building up its SEO.
True, but I mean, that's what Jeremy's saying. But
I'm more of the kind of thing is like, let your game do the talking. And if the game is that good, where people questioning owning an Xbox because Detroit Become Human is amazing, then the game will speak for itself. You don't need a developer going like, facing dilemmas. Thursday thought. When this game
Rand, after you said that,
Xbox, it's like it's one thing the right X. They literally added Xbox, which I thought was hilarious in itself.
they added
too.
Xbox. That's a shame. That's a damn shame. And
I mean,
you know what's funny? Like we get shit. Why don't they get shit?
Mooch, I mean, if you had to pick a game that could do this, like me and you have both played Last of Us, right? If this was from Uncharted, you'd be like, or if this was from like a Last of Us 2, you'd be like,
Naughty Dog,
okay, well, it's Naughty Dog,
yeah,
but Naughty Dog is they're a little bit more classier. I know you don't like Neil Druckmann, but you would never see this from like.
Well, Neil wouldn't even do
Naughty Dog, because the game is going to speak for itself, and people are
Right.
going to buy the game because it's going to be good.
Right.
Detroit Become Human is basically.
If you're a major corporation, you say some shit like that, there's going to be major.
Well, yeah, and that's my great point, Jared. But Jared, this is a major corporation because Sony's endorsing them. Like that's a black guy on Sony's face.
Are we sure Jim Ryan's not running their Twitter? That's
what I said, right?
Oh god.
Well, think about this too, though. Like, I mean, doing this now for them, right? If that's gonna end up being the official, account for the game itself, not the company, but just the game, maybe they think it's gonna add free followers instead of them having to buy some.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're definitely trying to get hits. And listen, Jerry, you're right. For the next 24 to 48 hours, they will. But Rand's point comes more into fruition when he said this game doesn't come out for so long that no one's going to remember the controversy.
That's the only thing that like sits on the back of my mind is there's so many games coming out from now until, when they're actually planning on releasing. That's if they even release it at that point in time. And there's so many games that are obviously going to be on people's minds that doing it this far out was not that big of a deal. And really, they shouldn't have done it.
It's much like the Lawbreakers thing when it came out on PS4. This is literally going to be talked about for 5 minutes, and then nobody's going to care tomorrow.
I agree. I agree. And
I think it was in shit taste, and I think that was really unprofessional of them, whoever did it. I don't know if it was exactly the dev, because they have like community managers and all that shit that run their Twitters and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it was them personally, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was really fucking.
Well, it was apparently some. And Rand, if I'm paraphrasing correctly, I thought you said something. It was a younger employee or a new person that kind of tweeted that.
I don't know. You would assume it was somebody who probably is not really too up to date on their social media policies. But can you imagine if because I kind of thought about this, like, what if Xbox put a picture of like the Xbox One S is like, hashtag Thursday Thoughts when the Xbox One is out, but you're a sad PlayStation owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like, also line over the green checkmark shit that like the 4K, even though it was like true what they were saying, like people just
and even then they didn't at PlayStation. It's implied that it's against PlayStation, but like you don't need to say that directly to them. Like
you don't need to.
Honestly,
boys Yoshida thing, like it's a direct shot at Xbox, but it's subtle. But like because the genius in that was because it was subtle. Everybody knew what it was. You didn't need to be like, oh, by the way, it's an Xbox, guys. Like,
right.
Well, honestly, it seems like possibly whoever did it, does he actually tweet a lot? Like, did anyone notice if he actually tweets a lot? Because if he does and he does like the drama, he could have been reading that like Xbox fans really think his game looks like crap, or whoever it is, like they think the game looks like crap, and he just got freaking pissed off and was like, oh, I'm gonna like we've seen that by a lot of like these high guys.
12 tweets or something.
Yeah,
he didn't have a
he's
ton
not
of
so
tweets.
familiar, so he's not so familiar, and chances are he was reading things, he got annoyed and decided. We see that a lot lately on Twitter. We see a lot of these high guys who are actually supposed to be of importance. Hi guys.
Rounds with Mooch.
Hi guys.
Yeah, hi guys. So they're actually of some importance in some, like, in gaming. Like, look at that journalist who did the Manchester thing. Like, he posted that big thing and got a lot of hate for it. Like, they literally just act now. Nobody seems to really act that professional.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I want to point out also that it's stupid to say that, because most people probably already have both. Most Xbox owners that I know have a PS4 as well. So realistically, the only thing it's doing is making people that maybe have a slight preference for Xbox not want your game.
Right. So, right. I mean, listen, is this the same folks that made Heavy Rain?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at how well that did.
What was that game? No.
Exactly.
They did Beyond Two Souls 2, which was horrible.
That was
I looked at Metacritic and it was like, hey, really burning up the charts with the 70 on I mean, like I said, this is a follow-up to a game that got middle of the road reviews. This isn't Last of Us. This isn't Uncharted. This is just kind of a middle of the road game. Like.
Oh, it got Central Time reviews.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, listen. So we go from one lashing of the Xbox to the other side of the world. So we go from the developers that attack Xbox. Let's go to the media.
Developers.
Then we have exactly. We have the media. We have IGN, which is telling you IGN can't afford 4K TVs, and neither should you. I don't know what to say. And South, I know you're in LA and they're in San Fran, but I don't know what's going on up there in San Fran.
It couldn't be a fucking bigger world of difference.
I agree. You sold me on that well over a year ago, so I'm never going to put you in that same circumstance. I'm only asking you because maybe you have an idea because it's closer to your ears. I have no idea what's going on. Look, here's what we don't do, IGN. We don't put our consoles in backpacks and take them to our work or our friend's house, okay? That's just something we don't do with our consoles that you guys do.
You're going to say anymore. We don't do that shit
anymore, right?
No more LAN parties.
No, there's no more LAN parties. LAN parties where you're walking around with a tower and a fucking long-ass Ethernet cable. I mean, the problem, this is ridiculous. And this is an attack, okay? And Jeremy, I'm glad you're here. Me and Jared kind of had this awesome conversation offline one time. And, he really shined the light. It's not that he said it and I didn't know it, but he shined the light on something that's just it's marketing. It's marketing. So there's nothing he said that no one can hear. He basically said, look, we all talk about how Sony puts a lot of money into these marketing rights, okay? Well, where do these marketing rights transpire? TV, YouTube commercials, ads, clicks. And all these things are on the Kotakus, the IGNs, the Polygons. Every time you click on, and it's Sony. Microsoft doesn't spend that kind of money. Sony does. And Sony doing that, it infiltrates all the way down, right? Shit flows downhill. Money flows downhill. It goes boom, 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 all the way down. So when you have people like Damon Hatfield and his weird little hat he wears like Troy Baker, and you have, Ryan McCaffrey and all these guys, okay? When you have all these nutcase, these guys are getting paid by those people. This is what I said. And Jeremy, congratulations and bravo for bringing it to my right in front of my eyes. Is that when we used to say, "Oh, what do you think, Mooch? You think they're just getting paid off by Sony? Like an envelope shows up?" No. I always said that doesn't make any sense. This isn't the 20s, and it's not the Gestapo. Okay, this is not what it is, right? It's not the mob. So we got to understand is what is it? This is what it is. It's coming through the system. Why is Up at Noon on IGN have 25 Sony TVs behind them? Because Sony, it all trickles down. So then at the end of the day, if somebody puts a $50 bill in your pocket and then that person stands in front of you and someone goes, hey, do you like that guy or that guy? Even if you don't really care for the person that put the $50 in your pocket, you're not stupid. You're hoping next week you get $50 again. You're like, I'm going to pick him. So, I mean, my whole point here is that, and bravo, Jeremy, for actually saying that to me, and I got to bring it to the audience, is that this is where you see this bias come forward. And that's I mean, Jared, if I left something out, please chime in.
No, you did perfectly.
You know, I mean, and that's the whole point, guys. And when you see Ryan McCaffrey, and that's why when Ryan McCaffrey makes it a point to say that he doesn't have a 4K TV and he can't get one because of financial, there's a $269 one at BJ's right now or Sam's Club. You know what I mean?
I find it hard to believe that he doesn't have 4K TV.
I do too. Well, here's the other thing, all right? Let me tell you this much. You can't be heavy, knee-deep in construction for 10 years and don't tell me you don't have a DeWalt drill at home. Okay, you're in the gaming business. Okay, you're in the gaming business, and you don't have a television that costs you can get a 4K TV between $300 and $500. Is it the best one? No, it's not. But you can go get one. That's your industry.
And McCaffrey's one of them cats that if he were to request it pretty loudly enough, he'd get one sent directly to his house and his office.
Absolutely.
I mean, it happens all day, every day. Hey. Wink, wink. You just give us a little shout out, but here you go.
Yeah, I mean that's that. And you guys, let me open it up.
Let me just point something out. You can get. I'm always retweeting Fat Kid deals. They might not be HDR TVs, but I'm talking 50, 55-inch 4K TVs for like $250, $350. These things are not very expensive anymore, and they're still going to be better than the basic 1080p ones that these people have. So anybody that's using that kind of excuse or whatever, that's completely lame and idiotic. You can get 4K TVs extremely cheap. In fact, it's harder and harder to find 1080p TVs nowadays. 4K is quickly becoming the standard. So I call bullshit to that. That's just them trying to like live up to this narrative. If you look at the hottest item at Black Friday and stuff like that, it is obviously 4K TVs. Everywhere I looked, people were buying 4K TVs. They're all over the place. Yeah. So obviously,
4K is the standard now.
It is.
To be clear, but now you have the OLED TV.
Right.
Super
exactly.
OLED.
Yeah, I'll probably know. I can't afford one of that. Can I start complaining about that?
Yeah, exactly.
I really want to get that OLED.
But Jeremy's
can't afford
Jeremy's right. 4K is the new standard, and if you don't have one, take this with all sincerity. But that's a you problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? You need to go, I don't know, get a second job. Like, what the fuck? I mean, who doesn't have $250? Listen, everybody's eating out all the time now. Everybody's everywhere. You go to Cheesecake Factory, it's an hour and a half wait on a Tuesday. That's ridiculous. Again, see, Castle Corner's on, folks.
He loves Tuesdays.
The Tuesdays, I don't know. For some reason, Tuesday's a great week to stay home is my point. And that's just the way it is, It's just, I don't understand how people can say, and this is where we're seeing the agenda. This is the media bias. Because how could somebody who's in the business of video games tell you that 4K is beyond financial reach? We are buying consoles that cost between $300 and $500. Games are $65 with tax in the U.S. They're above $70, $80 in Canada and other respected countries, okay? These are expensive. It's an expensive hobby. We've never hid behind anything else. We've always been very clear to that. And, GKB, I've talked to a bunch of people. I've even talked to Mike Ibarra about it. And I said, Mike, should I build a PC? And he's like, he literally says, wait for the X. But my point being is
if you want to.
But my point is like, if you want to build a PC, a decent PC is still $1,500.
Yeah, depending on what you want. I mean, same with TVs. It's like the cost is like whatever you want into it. Like, right? I did a whole bunch of research for She-Wolf and I because we got the 4K monitors. We got 28-inch ones, 1 millisecond response times. I was looking for like the competitive gaming one. It doesn't have HDR, but it has 4K and all the other stuff. And like, I just don't understand their rationale either. Like, when your job is to do video games reviews and all that kind of stuff, and a new hardware comes out, like you owe it to yourself to get that kind of stuff so you can give the proper reviews for your viewers and stuff. It's like a mechanic going in doing his job and not having any fucking tools to do it with. Like that doesn't make any sense to me, like whatsoever.
And we're actually failing to bring up the biggest thing is it's a tax fucking write-off.
Yeah, exactly, for them for sure.
Oh, they'll get sent fucking free Xbox.
Oh, I know.
Like IGN will have.
Well, they can't play it, bro. They don't have a 4K TV. What are they gonna do? They're just
you guys could write off 4K too, right?
I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah.
You could. It's considered a hobby. Anything that's a hobby, you can write it off.
Well, technically, if I were to make my YouTube channel a business and I would incorporate or whatever, like essentially anything that I buy or use for the YouTube channel, will it be for gaming, could be written off as a tax expense at some point.
And you can write off your games too. All your games you buy.
Exactly. I know. Trust me, Jeremy, I know all this. Thank you. Thanks for jumping in.
Jeremy knows everything about everything.
I know Jeremy's like I'm always trying.
That's
to,
Jeremy's new name is Jeremopedia.
But you said, I thought it was Jeremy the accountant. I loved it.
But the thing with IGN is like I kind of see that as kind of like false complaining because IGN is gonna be one of the first places that get review kits for Scorpio, which I'm gonna say Scorpio because I don't like the X name, but I'm kind of with Shoe Wolf on that one. Scorpio.
Yep.
It's hard to stop.
They'll have.
Hey, hold on. The whole Scorpio thing, Phil did come out and say, hey, for anyone who was there throughout the Scorpio timeline, be my guest and please feel free to use the name Scorpio because
but it still has a Scorpio chip in it. So
yeah. So they'll get their free consoles, and I'm sure IGN has 4K monitors for work purposes that Ryan McCaffrey and those people can play their games on. Hell, I still think you're going to see Microsoft give out Xbox One X's along with 4K TVs to these big YouTubers and Twitch streamers because they're going to want people to say how great the game looks. Right. So, I mean, people don't want to buy TVs every year. They think of it as like a once every 5 year kind of purchase. And yeah, you can. I bought my 4K TV last year. It was on sale for $400. Was it the best 4K TV I could buy? Hell no. I'm not made of money, but I had the extra $400 to spend. If I had waited a year, I could have probably gotten a better and bigger one for about the same price, but I'm impatient. I wanted a 4K TV now. So I don't know, like that whole thing, like the whole well, if Scorpio isn't, don't get a Scorpio because you don't have a 4K TV. I find that line of thinking extremely narrow because they made sure to say that everything is super sampled on the system.
Right.
So if you do have a 1080p TV, you will see advantages for it. And if you decide to get a 4K TV at some point, you have a system and a Blu-ray player and a whole library of games that you have because Xbox One's, the X is back compat with everything else. So it's all there for you to go. Plus, how many times has Phil said they don't really care what system you buy? The Xbox One X is for this type of consumer that knows a teraflop, that has the expendable money, that has a 4K TV. And that's that consumer. And if you're in that consumer, then you can get that system if you want. But they're perfectly happy with someone who has an Xbox One S. You want to play on that? And hell, if you want to play in the PC and buy games from Windows 10, they're cool with that too.
Right.
So I kind of see all that complaining from them as just like to complain for complaining's sake. Well, who's this really for? It should be cheaper. I mean, come on, dude.
Right. Well, there was someone in the chat that was like, listen, by the time November rolls around, the Pro is going to be $350 versus $500. Here's my whole point. Like, we're all gamers, right? Like, whether you like Xbox or you're a Sony guy, if you're going to go, we're all going to stand in line and say we're all gamers, right? That what's 150? This console, this X will be around for at least 3 years, maybe 4. Okay, but let's just round down to give the haters the benefit of the doubt. So 3 years. Okay, that's roughly 1,095 days, roughly, whatever it is. Okay, it comes to for that $150 difference between the Pro, it's 13 cents a day. 13 cents a day.
Dude, that's assuming a lot too. I don't really see Sony lowering the price of that.
I don't either. I mean,
let's give them the benefit.
I always like to give them the benefit of the doubt crap because let's use their argument. For 13 cents a day, you get the better console for the next 3-4 years. That's going to give you the better multiplats. And wait till you see, like Tim had to leave for another show, but like wait till you see the lighting and the effects and the textures and the draw distance. Like, this is going to change the way you look at the game. And we haven't even talked about HDR.
I've seen it. I've played it. Oh, my God. It's worth getting. Yes, it is.
And let me tell you, Jeremy's saying that
he's not even the downer anymore. He had to retire.
Yeah, listen.
Downer retired.
If I was Microsoft, I would have
Crackdown,
I would have taken that quote Jeremy just put on the back of the box, and quoted him. Like, that's a big deal.
You should ask Jeremy what he said to Craig Duncan to get to him to retire the downer. What happened, Jeremy? Give us the insight. What happened?
Please tell us.
Hey, Craig Duncan kissed his forehead. Hey,
I saw that. What did how did you get?
That was beautiful. I was right there.
That was unexpected. I had no idea he was good. I had him on video, and all of a sudden, a kiss on the forehead came from nowhere.
Well, it's funny because Jeremy was walking by and I was talking to Craig, and then he just happened to say "dick" right when Jeremy walked by, and I go, "Yeah, that's a dickhead right there," And Jeremy
Craig was like, "No, I didn't say that."
Yeah. I said,
Listen,
okay, you don't have to be shy with us.
I love the,
So is it one of those like kisses where you kiss him on the head and then fucking stab him right in the side?
No,
You know,
no,
the final
he
kiss.
actually really does like Jeremy for some reason. Even though Jeremy shits all over his game, he really likes Jeremy.
listen, let's say, just to give Jeremy some credit, when Jeremy sent out the tweet of the dog on the couch with the bubble that popped, and he's like, this is my reaction to Crackdown. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually watched that tweet because you have to, on my phone, I have to hit it like, and then to get out and then hit it again, and watched it 3 times and laughed out loud. It was probably the funniest thing I've seen because Jeremy's so brutally honest. Like, that's why people are like, you guys call him Downer. I call him Truth Serum. He's honestly one of the most truthful sons of bitches I've ever met on the YouTube circuit. And it's just great to have him on, first and foremost, because he works most Friday nights. So it's awesome to have you here, Jared. But Jared, what was your take on? We've talked a lot offline.
Yeah, off topic though. How did you get? I mean, this looks like a gaming podcast Hall of Fame. How did you manage to get all these people on here? I mean, Tim was on here. You got Rand on here. You got Clowns. You got Jake.
I think, see, this is great, Jeremy. Thank you for giving me credit for that. I always try to make it, see, people, a little history on CrossFire here. I always try to make it so that, I told Crap this when I first started, I wanted to have a usual group, which I call the usual suspects, but I understand, like, shit happens in life. So a lot of people that are on your usual cast, sometimes they can make it, sometimes they can't make it. But then I thought it was really important to always have 2 or 3 people on a week that are new so that the audience they don't just hear my take all the time or just Craps or just Clowns.
Well,
So
I haven't been on a podcast in almost over a year.
We miss you, bro.
This is actually the first time I've been on a podcast in a little over a year.
It's because I fired you, Jeremy.
At least you can openly admit that.
That was Rand doing his Trump impression. You're fired.
You're fired.
You're fired. But you know what? No, in all honesty, Jared, listen, the community misses you, bro. I know you're still very alive on Twitter. Thank God. Don't ever leave that.
He donated
I
a 3-month
talked to
code
Jeremy.
He's great.
to M&C Mornings once.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did he call in?
He donated a code. I know that. So
He did, that's right.
He hasn't called in. Which, by the way, call in, leave a voicemail. Today's the last day.
Nice
Bug the
plug,
hell out of
Jeremy.
J-Dubs.
Wow, there's a
Well,
shame.
I gotta hook you guys up if you guys are on Patreon.
We
And
are
if
on
Mooch-
Yeah,
Patreon.
we are. We mooch
For just $1 a month, folks. That was my ready. Here's my Greg Miller. For just $1 a month.
And
In
then
fact,
for
we
$5,
get-
you can pay and they'll be your friend.
Yes. God damn it, she won't.
We show
That's
up.
not exactly accurate.
That's pretty fucking
Crap and Mooch
crazy.
show up. We show up to weddings. We show up to funerals. We're funeral crashers, wedding crashers. We show up to everything. So
Hey,
I actually, hold on.
You ain't gonna be my friend. I think you guys are talented. That's just about it.
well, I appreciate
You know
that,
what's
Jared.
funny
Thank you.
though is
No,
I actually
Jeremy
had
got on his
somebody.
knees.
I
Hey,
actually
Jeremy's
had
a
somebody
big fan. I'm a
DM
big
me
fan of
and
his.
ask me if
Yeah.
we paid Crap to be on our, like if we joined the thing and paid Crap to be on our E3 shows.
hell yeah, you did. And that
I
check
would-
cashed, and I was like, I'm on
Well,
this
listen,
shit.
let me explain something to people who don't know about Patreon. It is funny, don't get me wrong, and I'll definitely roll with the punches. But we are on a gaming podcast, and we're doing gaming-related things. So you can sit there and brainstorm all you want. But, like, to play games and to do this and that and to do special shows, that's pretty much all you can ask for Patreon, unless you want me and Crap to show up in our fucking eagle and rhino outfit at your son's birthday party. I mean, what else do you want us to do?
Wow.
Well, what are you supposed to do at a freaking Patreon? You know, it's like, you're like, how dare you put that on there? It's like, what do you want me to put?
Moochie Crap to the fucking right.
Moochie Crap birthday parties.
But Mooch, you told me the rhino wasn't a costume for Crap though.
It's no. Listen, I had nothing to do with that. Listen, let me tell you right now. You know what I mean? Listen, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of like that movie Old School where they had all the rookies dressed up as the stuffed animals.
It has the extra hole at the bottom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, look, we were looking around at like some of the bigger like Patreon accounts, and like, what do we do? Like,
it was the same thing
what can
they
we
did.
offer?
They're like,
Yeah.
we'll do this. We'll hang out with you. We'll do that. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
let's type what they're doing. I don't know. What else am I supposed to do?
Like,
Moochie
we were very weird with it, but we did do I thought was a good value was the exclusive podcast twice a month for people.
Yeah, which we still do.
Yeah, which we
No,
got to
that's,
do actually.
that's always awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and the thing is, it's like we were trying to do it so that we could give more stuff away. Like, we're hoping to build up enough that we can buy some shirts and give them away to people. You know what I mean? We do the game giveaway. In
Yeah.
fact, we get so few calls, voicemails now. Luca wins every fucking week.
Yeah,
Like, we get
it's
8
like
calls. You know, you get a 1 in 8 chance to win something.
Well, the thing is, you say that the problem is too is don't forget you do have to look at the audience. And Jeremy makes a good point when he said that he hasn't been on a podcast in a year, and a lot of people don't jump on podcasts. And when they do, I've said this a lot. Like, it's not easy to do a podcast. You know, people always go, it's easy. I'll just go buy a microphone and talk for a few hours. Yeah, try talking for a few hours every 3 days on like 4 headlines. So, you know, it's not always the easiest thing to do. And we always see people call in because MNC Mornings really is, it's the show for the audience. And we get 500 active listeners. It's just that not a lot of people call in because that's just not their bag. And that's fine. You know, it's not easy. Some people don't. There's a reason a lot of gamers get the stigma that they game and they're not, you know, they're not at dance clubs after they shut the game off. It is what it is. But I mean, at the same time, we say, hey, give us a shot. For $1 and a dream, you can win a video game every month, folks. It can't be that bad. But yeah. Thanks for that MNC morning plug for whoever was
on. I have an idea. Rhino and Eagle plushies.
Awesome. I'm done. Sold, baby. Sold.
There you go. Yeah. Graphic God, can you do those?
I'm sure he could. But
I'm sure Jeremy can find probably someone who can.
Hey, he'd have one. He would have one set up, and then Mooch would be like, you know what, that looks good, but we have to change this around a bit. You know, I don't really like the way he's holding it.
Can we redo the stitching?
What do we do?
You could even be like the Ori and Naku one. You could have like the Rhino holding the eagle in his arms. It could be like crap holding Mooch.
Wait. I'm writing all this down.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just
that's saying what you're trying to say.
No, it'd be like when Mooch was on hiatus and Crap was fucking sad. You know what I mean? He was trying to hold on to Mooch.
Crap was upset. Surely. You know what I mean? But hey,
put the razor down.
Down.
Hey, everything worked out though. I think the shows came back good, and you know what I mean. We actually are doing. We're actually doing pretty damn well as far as like the MNC and Crossfire and stuff like that. So that's been really
MNC.
cool.
I'll tell you, man, MNC is a lot of fun, and I want to thank a lot of people that are on this panel right now. I mean, a lot of you guys contribute. You guys show up on Sunday mornings. You know, listen, it really is. It's a team event.
Yeah, it's too goddamn early.
I know, right?
Assassin goes MNC condoms, MNC pizza. He's got many ideas.
Assassin, I'm gonna have my accountant talk to you very soon. My accountant is Jeremy, by the way.
Yeah, you get MNC condoms, and then it breaks.
Yeah,
really good.
Thanks, Mooch and Crap.
Thanks, Mooch and Crap. Now I have an unwanted.
Hey, I know.
You have little rhinos running everywhere.
If this topic continues, I'll have to put an M for mature after
when you're about to put one on and you see a big Mooch and a rhino on the fucking thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's probably not going to be.
That could sell.
No,
that could sell.
Well, maybe, but I don't know. Like, to me personally,
let's get back to gaming. Our audience is starting to open their liquor cabinet.
Albino rhino. There you go.
Albino rhino. It's so great. It's so great. Listen, getting back to gaming, let's talk about this for a second here. You've got Aaron Greenberg comes out today and he says there was a lot, and I put this as my main headline here. There's a lot of unannounced games. So, you know, listen, Jeremy was there, South was there. Rand, you've got your ear to the ground on all of this. You know, can you inform the panel or the audience? I mean, do you think that what Aaron's talking about is he just talking about Halo 6 and Gears, 5?
Halo 6 ain't about to be announced though, like anytime soon. So
no, but that's kind of what Aaron's saying here when he's saying they're unannounced and we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
They're unannounced games. They're unannounced games. They're Halo 6.
Of course, there's games that they haven't announced.
Forza Horizon
come out in the next couple of years. Of course, there's games like that. Come on,
Forza Horizon 4.
Well, that's my point. I mean, how do we take this? As new IP or just guaranteed we know IP?
Probably a little bit of both.
Hey, to be fair, Mooch, there's been a couple of leaks lately, or not even leaks, but people saw the LinkedIn stuff.
Right.
One in the U.S., they're looking for somebody to do Horizon Zero Dawn style graphics on a game.
I saw that. Yeah.
And then one in the U.K., they're looking for an experienced graphic artist to do a new AAA shooter action adventure game. So they've got multiple.
News. Yeah, that's great news.
Yeah, they've got things going. I mean, Phil didn't lie. I mean, he doesn't really strike me as a person to lie. I mean, he does have a little bit of agenda and kind of can skew some things. But if you look at even going back to what he was talking about when people were bringing up the idea of mid-generation upgrades, and he was like big numbers, and then he was flat out truthful about no, we wouldn't want to do any kind of upgradable consoles. That's dumb. And then like people are still surprised that we don't have that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I bet you that Scorpio is upgradable and we're going to have modulars and you're going to slap this bitch on there and slap that and it's going to look like a fucking gross thing. And no, we ain't doing any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's honest. He told us the truth. Big numbers, which from the Xbox One to this is a big number. And it's just a fucking console. Like a lot of people are like, it's going to be a Windows machine. I bet the name's going to be Windows XS or whatever. The stupidest fucking thing. Like where I'm chuckling. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I was excited to see Aaron come out and say that because I really didn't think of it as Halo and Gears and Forza. I really think that they have stuff in the works. It's just that we know that Phil, and Tim said it earlier, Tim talks to Phil the whole time he's there, so does South. Phil isn't like showing things that aren't going to come out in like between 8 and 18 months. That's his window.
Fucking 6 months. That's what Tim
said.
Max, 6 months.
Year max.
I don't know about that. Ori 2 ain't coming out till 2019.
Whoa. You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. They've done a lot of hiring.
They've been working on it for a long time.
And they've been working. I mean, that Ori came out.
The first Ori took like 4 or 5 years to make. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but
they were little then.
That was from the ground up. They have a template now. I think
that was the one game at that show that didn't have a date, and
also
I don't think it's coming out next year.
Also for Ori, all they really did was show us scene plays. They didn't actually show us any actual in-game footage or anything. So
it's not going to be 2009. I remember when Thomas came on, he said, I mean, the game didn't even have characters until about the final phase of production. And I mean, they were working with block characters, and then finally
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, don't be surprised when it doesn't come out next year, because I think that's a game that is like early in the year, like March, like how it was originally. That's not a game you save to the end of the year, because at the end of the day, that's going to be like a $20 title. So I just don't think you're going to see that game 9 months from now. I think that game is early 2019. And it's telling because
speaking of the price of that, was everybody happy with the price of Cuphead?
Yeah, $20. Did anybody think it would be more?
I thought it was going to be at least 30. Yeah, I thought it would be 30, but no, $20 is perfect.
Oh, I thought it was $29.99.
No, it's $19.99.
Oh, that's
it's a boss rush game with some platforming elements. Like I'm not.
My only concern with that game is that it's
a good price.
Is that it's too short, but I think with them going back to the drawing board, it'll be you think it'll be a good 6-hour game.
It's not a boss rush game.
No, it's not.
Well, they say it's 80% boss rush, 20% platform.
Who said that?
Well, in the beginning, it was all boss fight.
In the beginning, it was like that, but they put some levels.
Yeah.
Well, they did put in that easy mode for crap, though.
Yeah, you know what? I'm extremely happy about that. Well, I mean, I'm going to get it anyway, but I just think that all games should be accessible to everybody.
Well, the boss battles are pretty tough. I ain't gonna lie. Like even when I played some, like they were pretty hard. So I could see people, like I could see Phil and them to like, yeah, you should probably put in an easy mode, because a lot of these journalists, a lot of these people that review this game probably won't even be able to get through your game.
That happened with Ori a little bit. I remember that getting some slights because of that. Like it was too difficult.
Like it was too hard.
I know. I gave it one. I just now restarted the definitive edition, which I guess is a little bit easier because I put it on easy. But So
in other words, you don't play Dark Souls, right?
Fuck no. I can't. I wouldn't play Dark Souls. No.
I think it's actually time that we talked about Dark Souls, because I have Jeremy on here.
If it came out with Happy Souls, then I'd play that where you walk around.
Listen, I'll tell you right now. Here's the crap. I've been playing Dark Souls. I played last night again, and I just kind of creeped through it. Jeremy's a fan, GKB, so you're kind of getting ganged up on here. Maybe Randall come to your defense, but I think Dark Souls is the ultimate game, and let me tell you why. It's not because it's hard. The game, crap, all the stuff we talk about, the nostalgia, the growing up, the way that we all gamed, it's all in this particular game. It's an amazing game, to be honest with you. And to be honest, it's not that hard. It's hard to understand, but it's not hard to play. And I think people get intimidated Listen, you ever have somebody at work that says to you, how do you guys even play those silly video games? Meanwhile, hand them an Xbox One Elite controller, and it looks like you put them behind the back of a fucking 747 jet airline. They don't know what they're doing with the controller. They're like, well, this is stupid. It's kid play. You can't even hold it. You're scared. My point being is when it comes down to it with Dark Souls, I think a lot of the it's hard and the I'm not playing that shit is because the game doesn't explain the game. You have to figure it out. Yeah. It is an amazing, amazing game to play. And
I would go as far as saying it's probably the top three games on any console.
I agree. I think it's up there.
At the end of the day, like Dark Souls, yeah, it's a hard game, and you're right, Mooch, on a lot of your points. But like a lot of gamers today haven't grown up with like the NES games. Like those shits were fucking hard, man. And you couldn't save halfway through or get to a certain point. You had to play like almost like one fucking time all the way through the game.
But now people expect to be able to save like almost every 5 minutes. Where this game,
I honestly think that takes a lot of the fun out of it, and a lot of the tenseness out of games and stuff like that.
And not too many people know about this, but the co-op in the game, the co-op and the PvP is amazing. It's unpredictable.
I've been playing through about 90% of Dark Souls 3 with Scythe Effects. Shout out to him. He's a Dark Souls guru. What's so great about playing with him, and he's actually midway through getting his game. He was an amazing cook, and he actually stopped to do game development, very similar to like the Don. And he's just like so into Dark Souls. He knows the history. He knows all the art design. He tells you as we're going through, and it's so immersive to get into it. It is. It really, honestly, Jared, it is.
It's great to play with people on Dark Souls like that.
Yeah, and crap, honestly, I know you're anti it, but you know what, though? You're really not, because I know you, and you like games so much.
I am really anti, but not because of what you're thinking. It's just the problem is I don't have time to play a game and lose hours of my game because I died and have to go back to a point. Me,
I don't think that's really it though, crap. But that's a falsity, right? And I mean, Jeremy, back me up here. Crap, I thought the same thing. I'm like, I'm not going all the way back. It's not like that. So you go towards a point, a mission or a boss.
What he's saying is when you lose your soul, like when you accumulate all kinds of souls and you lose them.
First of all, there's
heartbreaking right there. I'll tell you that one.
It's heartbreaking, but Jeremy, you know that's kind of false because first of all, when you die, you can go get them again, and usually you can get back to that point fairly easily.
My biggest problem when I play those games is when I'm trying to go back to get them, I die again, and then I lose it all anyway. So
I walk a very tight rope when I'm going back to get the souls. You should see me. I'm like tiptoeing through the whole thing. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh shit. Don't let him see me.
The most I've lost is 2 million souls. I was devastated.
That is gut wrenching. But why didn't you spend them?
I was saving them. I thought I had the ring on hand, the sacrifice ring.
Yeah.
And I totally didn't.
I will say this much, crap, just to defend you here for a second. I will say this. The game is uber intimidating. The game is so intimidating. The amount of items, the only game that beats it in items is The Witcher, I think. You ever see your Witcher's item list?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just give up. You look at it and you're like, fuck it. I'm sure if I just click on a few of these things, it'll do something for me later. Like, that's the thing with like Dark Souls. You have to learn what all these items are, and the game doesn't really tell you. You need to go out and do some research. And don't get me wrong, you might go, I don't have that kind of time, Mooch. I have been playing Dark Souls. Dark Souls came out last year in May. And Jeremy gives me shit every time he sees me. He goes, "You didn't beat that shit yet, Mooch?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't. I'm really kind of piecing it together, and I'm getting a lot of history because I started on 3. So I mean, this isn't a plea to crap. This is more of a plea to the audience. If you haven't played, and this is not coming from me, this is coming from Scythe and other people that I know that have played years and years of Dark Souls. Start with Dark Souls 3. Don't go doing 1 and 2 because I think 1 and 2 with the speed of the game is hard.
The easiest. I think 2's the easiest.
Okay, well there you go. I was told to start with 3 because between the graphics and the way that they made the game a little faster, it's a little easier for today's gamer to get into it. You know, and I think that there's something to be said for that. But yeah, I mean that's complete sidebar, so I apologize. But yeah,
we're talking about Dark Souls, and now this whole fucking panel's quiet.
The whole panel, everyone's making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as we speak.
And Jeremy's excited as hell right now.
No, I'm just thinking that we should see a crap and Mooch PvP stream of Dark Souls 3.
I am never playing.
Listen, Clowns. Clowns. First
Crap
of all,
won't play because there's not a crap gamer mode.
It's not even just that. Like I said, like even like regular games that I like say, I really like Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't have.
Yeah. No, I can understand it. Mass Effect Andromeda looks like it's time. And you know what? Honestly, crap, let me agree with you. And Rand, I was actually meaning to hit you up on Twitter. I was going to DM you. I've actually gotten really far in Prey, but I just stopped playing it because, like, I kind of feel like how crap feels about Andromeda. I'm like, is this going to, like, I'm getting overwhelmed with the side quests. And, we're taking a hardware break for everybody. We're talking software, believe it or not, on Crossfire. But, on Prey, like, I'm at the point right now where I'm trying to think of where I am. What is that called? The Aberdome or Aber something. You know where I am. So I'm fairly deep into that. Am I anywhere near the midpoint or end?
What was the last main mission you did?
Shit, I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't want to hold the audience up, but I'll talk to you after the show. But, I mean, Prey is another game that's fantastic, and I recommend it to anybody who likes to really dive deep in because there's a ton of side quests. There's a lot to do, a lot of, like, people to find in the game that give you key cards. But the thing about this game that's interesting to anybody who liked Dishonored, and I didn't like Dishonored, but I like Prey, is they give you so many different variations of ways to attack the game.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Game's as long as you want it to be.
Yes, and that's the thing. And someone like me who has a problem where when I see side quests, I go do them all. And I'm like, my God, I haven't done a main mission in for fucking ever. I need to get back on this. So, like, that's the problem with Prey for me is I really start to get too involved in it. But, yeah, Rand, I will hit you off subject about that. Let's talk about something I had on my topics list here and get the audience back to what we were saying. Listen, guys, you guys know this. This is another issue that's come up. Call of Duty Modern Warfare gets a remastered release independently, which we didn't know if Activision would do, but we were sure of it because they can make another $40 per. And PS4 looks like they're getting it for what? Is it 30 days that they're going to get it for? Does anybody know? The remaster?
Yeah, I want to say it's like.
I believe it's their typical 30-day Activision Call of Duty exclusive stuff they always
do. So here we are, folks, okay, going into the middle of this generation, okay, and we have Sony, who is doing the exact opposite of everything Phil says and everything. Phil's like, I don't want to have exclusives. I don't want to keep games from other platforms. I think people's games are something that they should enjoy, and we shouldn't retain them for ourselves. And Sony just keeps doing everything within their means of locking down, whether it be exclusive rights on Destiny for a year or a month of Call of Duty. And I don't mind them doing the map pack thing because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Xbox did that for a long time, so I'm not going to critique them and Activision. But do you guys see a problem here?
Mooch, really fast. I don't know if you saw the stuff about Destiny, but did you see when all the PlayStation exclusive content from Destiny 1 is finally coming back to Xbox for the first time?
When?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the day before
mid-October.
Destiny 2 comes
so
out.
a month after Destiny 2 is out is when all the content from PlayStation is making its way over to Xbox.
When nobody will care.
So that's when we can go back and play Destiny 1 again? Get out of here.
That's when the two exclusive strikes, the exclusive weapons, all that stuff makes its way to Destiny 1 on Xbox. But it's a month after Destiny 2 is out, so who's going to give a fuck? Besides
right. So except for TLA.
Going back to the Call of Duty thing, is anybody surprised? And who really gives a shit? Because if you really wanted the game, you got it with the combo.
South, you're 100% right. But what's interesting is the tale of two big companies, right? You've got Microsoft that's trying to say games. They came back, and I'm going to tie in two stories into one. Phil went ahead and listened to the audience again, and he's saying now your OG Xbox games are going to be back compat. I mean, Phil's really, ever since he took the helm, he said that I believe anything you've ever purchased should always be playable, and you should own that. You should own the IP that you purchased and take it with you wherever you go. He's really said that since day one, and he's kind of kept his word. Sony, on the other hand, started this generation with, this is how you share a game. And now they're doing anything but sharing with anybody, unless you want to rebuy it over and over again. And then they're retaining rights to IP in certain situations, in certain games and DLC. Do you guys see that Microsoft has become the good guy and Sony's become the bad guy? However, we're the only people pointing it out.
As an Xbox fan, that's how you're gonna see it, obviously. But if you're outside of our circle, that's not how you're gonna see it.
Well, no, we're not going to see it because none of the main gaming media sites are going to run with one headline that even represents what we just said.
Right.
Fuck the gaming media.
I don't know. I see this as just business, man. You do what you need to do to grow your business and maintain your lead. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but like Microsoft did it last gen. Clearly, I mean, obviously there was a change of leadership, so they stopped doing it. But I mean, I just look at it as like a business move.
So Rand, and don't get me wrong, I actually happen to agree with you. But let me say this much. So what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with, is that you don't agree with Phil's business structure.
I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I just think like I think if roles were reversed,
right?
If 2013 happened and nobody cared, and Xbox One took off, and Donnie Matrick was still running the ship,
yeah,
you would see the same thing that Sony's doing right now, but Xbox would be doing it.
Okay,
it's just
I agree.
I also think that those exclusives are probably way too much money for Phil to get because of the disparity in the two user bases. But I'm all for people playing the content wherever at the same time. I just also know and look at it from like, these are just two people trying to, it's just business, man. They're Sony's trying to get stuff for their customers and to draw other customers to PlayStation, and Xbox is trying to do the same, but in different ways.
That doesn't.
Like it's two different philosophies, and you see lately over the last year or so, you see Phil's kind of his structure or whatever is starting to change, evolve a little bit. If you notice. He went from that hard stance to he's kind of softening it a little bit.
What do you mean, South?
Well, okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Jeremy?
I think Rand's right. Maybe we got to read between the lines a little bit. Say maybe Phil thinks that he can't compete pound for pound with Sony, and he's got to take a different route to affect the market in different.
Well, because remember, he was totally against, the marketing deals and everything else and third-party deals and blah, blah, blah. But then now he's seen how well it worked for Sony. And, I mean, it's kind of its own beast now. So in order to stay relevant, you have to swallow your pride, I guess, to a certain degree. And
what do you see Phil doing, though, South, that leads you to believe that?
Well, you're starting to see it with, like Shadow of War, games like that, where he's, heavily Anthem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you look, he's not getting any kind of time, any kind of content involved with those.
Right.
I don't think he's going to the extreme that Sony did, like with Destiny. I think Destiny is kind of like its own, strange bird. You know what I mean? Like it's a rare, marketing
also,
strategy.
again, Phil did, like I said before, Phil did come out and say that, he doesn't want to stop the gamers from having any form of content. Like, he doesn't want to limit the gamers. And it seems like he thinks more about an overall majority instead of just one straight, you know what I mean? One straight.
I think Phil's going after games that, he can put like the Xbox marketing stuff all over, but not really keep any content from any of the gamers kind of thing, which I think is a smart move, and I think a better move, honestly.
I don't. Here's the thing. I think that actually, GKB, I think that's a nice move. I don't think it's a smart move, because the problem is it's just not working. And how do you lure someone to buy your box? You have to have something on yours that the other one doesn't have.
There's a old Italian saying, Mooch, that my dad taught me a long time ago: "Nice guys finish last."
Yeah, and it's true. It's true, and that's the problem here. The other thing is when I asked South the question, "What do you see Phil doing differently?" Somebody in the chat, Serve, said it, and I'm going to repeat what he said. It was what I was thinking. I thought he was going to say, "Well, that's what I'm seeing with Players Underground." And that was the move that I saw that I was like, wait a minute, maybe Phil is going back on his word and he's going to go and pick up a couple of exclusive rights. And maybe this is a smart move, right? Yeah, they're doing really well on PC, but to go ahead and get Xbox to throw some serious cash at you and put this bad boy on Xbox One X, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the company. It's a big deal for Microsoft.
I just don't see Phil doing this 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
Well, also, like to what She-Wolf was saying, like Phil goes out and it's like, I don't, you see our games that we have a marketing deal with, there's no skins or whatever, obviously referring to Destiny and what Sony has, right?
Right.
And that's where Phil's stance is. But then because he wants gamers to have everything, but at the same time, how many games had time exclusivity on their show? So it's like, yeah,
Well,
you
hold on.
Right.
Let me stick up for you real quick. Stick up for him real quick with this, because they probably went and asked. I doubt they paid a dime for any of that. Some of these are smaller devs that are going to be able to only put one of these games out on one platform at a time.
Yeah, but crap, it's not necessarily always about money or straight up money. There's other things you can do to grease the palms. Actually,
you had Mikey Barra kissing ass, playing Battlegrounds, fucking promoting Battlegrounds.
No, you're right. But there's other things
that should have been a
But it is still
sign.
for the gamers, though. Even if these games are only, say, for a year of exclusive on Xbox, it still is eventually coming to, the PlayStation, where PlayStation, half the time their content doesn't, like, 2 years.
Good news. October, you guys are finally going to get get that fucking Destiny 1 content, right? Just in time for Destiny 2.
Yeah, like
I'm still buying Destiny 2, bro.
So, but what's the? Let me just ask you real fast. What's the difference between Destiny 1 having a skin exclusive for a year and Tomb Raider being exclusive to Xbox for a year?
Well, nothing. But the difference is, it doesn't look like Microsoft is going to do that shit anymore.
I think there's a difference. I mean, you're letting a certain subset of gamers not play the game, whereas Destiny, you could still play it. Yeah, you're not getting a skin.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, GKB, which one's better?
What do you mean better?
Well,
Personally, I think it all should just go away.
Better for the business, I guess.
I mean, I guess you look at it from because Phil said, he mentioned skins and stuff. We won't do that, but at the same time, it's like, look at 22.
Well, when you help fucking fund the game, I guess you get something out of the deal, right?
Well, yeah,
like PUBG. Because I think what we're talking about is like PUBG and stuff, and where I was saying that before is like it's a really unoptimized game and all that kind of stuff, and I think they really need Microsoft money to get that game where it needs to be, and they just can't do that on a PlayStation. So it makes sense in that to put it in preview, because I think it's going to be better for the game in the long run. But in that scenario, but as far as like keeping a game from players and all that kind of stuff, I personally don't like that at all.
No.
I don't mind Tomb Raider, because that game would have died out like Hitman had Microsoft not stepped up. It would have been a fucking they would have done the whole episodic thing, and it would have sucked.
Hitman's not dead, man. They're independent now.
I know they are, but that game.
Yeah, but you see them. They're already on social media begging for financing for the next one. So.
Yeah. Well, when you're in game development, who doesn't do that when you're in AAA?
Guys, these exclusive deals do work, and if you don't believe me, let's look at Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
It was a year on Xbox, and PlayStation sales were dismal. What's up?
They work to a certain extent, but not as big as when you look at the regular average folks that walk into a GameStop and walk into a Best Buy, and they look on IGN, they look on YouTube, and they see Sony's name written all over everything. What's that perception to them? Okay, that's the should be Microsoft's main focus, because I know when I walk into a Best Buy, and what's the first thing you go to when you walk into a Best Buy and you see Sony front and center, in front of everything, and you see that Destiny console. You bought one. You bought a Destiny console, right?
Yeah.
What's the perception to the average person that walks to the door? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying with Anthem too. Is like,
that's Jeremy. That's what GKB's been saying.
You go in there, you
right?
like Anthem all over all the place, and it's got Xbox all over it. It works the same way. Like they don't really need to go for that exclusive content stuff. It saves them money and stuff too.
Here's my fear, and it's because of that goddamn Division. Listen, they tried doing this with the Division, right? They were like, the Division's the Destiny killer, and it definitely was not. So we'll leave that for another show. But what scares me is that Anthem is and does have the capability of being one fantastic game. The thing is, though, the way that Sony advertised Bungie and Destiny, that's what has to happen with Microsoft needs to spend a lot. Forget exclusive content. Just a lot of money so that when you walk into Best Buy or GameStop, when Anthem is coming up for release at the end of next year, you know that the only thing you can do is buy that green box. You have to buy the green box.
I think they're well aware of it.
They better be aware of it, because they didn't do a great job with the Division. They did a better job than most, but it wasn't great. Anthem, they need to preach.
Well, they know that the Anthem is one of the big,
They showed it off. That's people are so freaked out by how great that game looked. They're like, it's got to be PC. It's got to be PC.
Right, that's true.
I was more concerned about how Anthem looked compared to all of Microsoft's first party stuff. And when you look at Anthem, you look at the quality that's displayed at E3, and then you look at Xbox's first party, it can't compete. I mean, it's like
Counter Strikes again.
Man, the down.
I don't know. I don't know. I heard
Down
Gears
without a
4
retirement.
looked pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too impressed with it, but it looked good.
Jeremy didn't even see it. He's so full of shit.
I think like Anthem, like I think we got to be like a little bit careful, like with games on like E3, because we've seen a lot of times where games like were shown there, and then like when they actually release, and these games are still a little bit away, they're kind of downgraded a little bit. So, but like I said, I think Anthem looks fantastic, and regardless if they're doing checkerboarding or anything else, I can't wait to play that game.
What scares me and what kind of puts me off is when anybody says anything like a Destiny killer or someone killer. I hate that label.
I hate it too.
You can't, you know what I mean? You can't pit one game against the other and say this is gonna not, like Division. Oh, it's Destiny killer.
Not every game's lightning in the bottle.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So let Anthem be its own animal, and and hopefully it grows and captivates the audience like Destiny did.
Destiny did what it did, and listen, Destiny 2 is probably going to be kind of like when Fonzie jumped the shark. I'm a big fan of Destiny, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm afraid because they didn't change the engine or change much to it. And actually, again, Rand,
it's 1.5.
I was catching the Xbox 2, and he had while we were waiting for Jez to finish dinner, he had DOA come on, and they were talking about it. And you asked DOA, you said something along the lines of, do you think this is basically Destiny 1.5? And DOA says, well, yeah, but that's not a bad thing. But the one thing that a lot of people were looking for was a little bit of progression. And what I think the progression we're going to get on the Xbox side is if Bungie puts those 4K textures, lighting effects, and scale distance in. That's the stuff. Right. Well, I'm not. And that's why I think
problem is the real version of Destiny is the one that's coming out after launch. The PC version.
On the PC, yep.
4K 60, baby.
Yep.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah. Everybody that just touched on
the only problem with that is it's PC.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
Well, that's a problem for crap. But.
Maka said out of all the games he played there, that Destiny 2 on PC was the best looking game.
About that.
Every game every game that he played, he said the best looking game, bar none, was Destiny 2 on PC.
Yeah, it looked phenomenal.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, here's the thing. In GKB, you're a good person to ask, right? So you have the PC that's capable of playing Destiny at that. But the problem is everyone that you hang out with, Destiny is a community game. And I have all of my friends that are on Destiny, the hardcore guys that I know that work in my office, those guys are all on Xbox. And, primarily thanks to the Mooch. But nonetheless, I got, they're on Xbox. I don't care if I can build a rig or if you gave me a rig.
Yeah.
I can't see leaving the fun I had with my Destiny crew. I have the crew that we all know, and then I have the crew that I play with at work. These guys are so into it that I can't see leaving that for even slightly better graphics. So I gotta stay on Xbox.
I mean that's gonna be like a case for anyone. But I gotta tell you, Mooch, like I've talked to a lot of Destiny players, and on both sides, like PlayStation and Xbox, and a lot of them are talking about the PC version, man. And I get the whole community thing.
Now you're talking about a $60 game turning into a $2,000 game. I don't know about that.
I don't think like a console person that doesn't have a PC is just gonna go out and build like a $1,500 rig or anything like that to play this game. I don't think that's going to happen, but if people already have access to that, I definitely can see them moving over to PC.
Yeah, plus Bungie has made it easy to switch because nothing transfers over from the first game. You're starting new. I mean, it'd be a different story if like you started Destiny 2 and you had your character with all your weapons and stuff. It's just basically a clean wipe. It's like, all right, new game. So
and Destiny's a game. Destiny's a game like on PC where it will thrive. Like the community will get really big there on PC.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I think the PC thing is a huge success. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
But you have to understand something. You're going to get the PC people to go play it. That's fine. But there's a lot of relationships that were made, GKB, in the past 3 years. Like we were saying early on, and you said it yourself, and She-Wolf said it in crap. Like, you're like, well, we keep switching from game to game. We can't play one game forever, blah, blah, blah. We do this and that. We're doing reviews. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But there's a lot of people that play Destiny, and they only play Destiny. And if you shout out to a guy who has a channel, is Briar Rabbit. He only does Destiny on YouTube. That's all he does. Mm-hmm. He dabbles here and there, but let's just cut the shit. He does Destiny. And That's what he, and I watch his channel. Like, he does everything. When Xur shows up, he gives you a fucking half-hour tutorial on everything he drops off every week. My point being is that, like, all these people that grew up playing it the past 3 years on PlayStation or Xbox, they're not going to go spend $1,500 to go play with, like, a new group of people on Destiny 2 because it's a little shinier. It's not going to happen. And that's so I think the console space is very safe. And I would hope, this is a bit of a ploy to you, I would hope that you wouldn't play it on PC. Because think about all the people you're playing with on Xbox or PlayStation, wherever you decide to play. You're going to leave, like, majority of those people are not going to go build a rig because it's shinier.
I don't see console gamers switching to a PC just because the game comes out. No, I don't. I'm sorry, but you're going to play with where your friends are. That's why you bought the consoles to begin with. You're not going to, like, go buy, like, this is not the first game.
Not only can I point.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was interrupting you. That was my bad. I was
just gonna say this is not the first game that we've seen go from consoles to a PC, and people didn't switch over then, so they're not gonna switch.
I watch a lot of like Destiny videos and like Planet Destiny and all those kind of stuff, man. They're all talking about like going to PC, and all their followers and everything else they're watching. Like
they're content creators though. GKB, they have to show the best product.
To be fair, like even in the chats and stuff when they're talking, like people are like, "Yeah, man, that PC version looks good." Like I'm not saying like everybody that's playing Destiny on console is going to PC, but I'm not going to say that people aren't going to go over.
Well, this goes back to what Crap was talking about in Clowns. I'm going to hit you up in a second. My whole thing is this. I just, that's bullshit. Then make fucking the Xbox One X a 60-frame game.
Well, that's what I've been preaching every time. Everybody keeps telling me to calm down, relax.
No, you're right. You're right, GKB. But unless me and you are going to go take up some pitchforks and knives and head over,
I've been trying, bro.
Nothing else to do. You know, because they're not going to listen to me.
The point I wanted to make about PC, because like my brother plays a little bit on PC and stuff like that, and he kind of made a good point to me, which was PC gamers abandon these types of games quite fast when it comes to like these online, unless it's like something that they're like used to. A lot of them
like World of Warcraft,
like League of Legends and this kind of stuff, right? So they stick to what they know. Like look at the Division; they've already abandoned that. What was that one? That other Ubisoft game where you're a knight or whatever. Like that's had like 95% abandon rate. Even No Man's Sky had a 99%.
Like, you see like Overwatch, like Diablo, like WoW, all those kind of games.
But you know what?
Rainbow Six, like
I think that has to do more with the template of the games now.
It's the game.
Like how much can they cheat? How much can they hack? Right, like that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, the Division was a terrible game, so nobody played it at once.
They hacked it too. They were cheating in it.
For Honor had the problem, same thing. Like, it was basically unplayable when you get to a certain point. So it's no surprise people stopped playing those games. But like GKB said, you got Overwatch. You have Rainbow
but Overwatch
Six.
again, Blizzard, a very
well, like, true, but the game's also good.
Destiny is getting it's gonna be on BattleNet, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Destiny
it's got like
all the big streamers are all like, they'll play it on PlayStation at first. Because obviously, and I don't know if this is smart on Bungie, but they're going to have people buying 2 versions of Destiny. They're going to have people buy the PlayStation.
GKB.
And then later on, they're going to have people buying the PC version, the double dip. So all those streamers are going to be playing the PlayStation version. And then they're going to start over on PC because they can play in 4K 60 and have it look really good for their streams. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I think maybe the super hardcore. I doubt
it'll be the streamers who already have the rig that can play it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
And all those streamers do. The big ones.
Wasn't the whole argument for not playing on Xbox One X because you weren't getting the content on that? Like PC's not getting the content either. So all those content creators are going to want to use the content.
Yeah, but
my issue is the frames per second, man. It's not has nothing to do with the content at all.
They'll have but like those dudes, that gaming is their job. So like they'll play PlayStation at the beginning, right? And it's not like they'll stop playing it. It's just that when they play on stream, it'll be PC, and then they can still screw around with their friends off stream on PS4, and then they can always go back to PS4 when like new DLC comes out with new stuff, but then kind of run back and forth. So I don't really see that being an issue for that game, at least.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Like for me, maybe it's just because I'm such a hardcore console guy. I don't even watch a stream if it's PC. To be honest with you. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think
as soon as I see it's a PC or whatever, I'm like, I'm out.
Well, what we're talking about is what it is, and crap. That's the whole thing we were saying. That's why the 4K and hopefully.
By the way, TRG is starting soon.
Yeah, I know. That's crap saying. Cut this short.
I gotta
go ahead, clowns. Go ahead, clowns.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic real quick, I think She-Wolf and GKB kind of have a valid point, though. I think the people that have the consoles and the rigs are going to go ahead and get on the rigs. And I'll tell you this: Inferno's getting it on his rig, and 6 other people that know Inferno are going to get it on the PC.
Well, that settles it. Everybody is getting it on their PCs, folks.
But the question is, are they also going to get it on Xbox to be able to play or watch? I bet you anything.
I'm getting it on both.
Yeah, we're getting it on both. But I bet you anything.
You might as well
when
not get it,
friends
Mooch.
aren't on during the time, they'll get another version so they can play with their Xbox friends.
That's great.
That's the joke, crap.
That's the joke.
you
crap. That was good.
Listen.
Over.
Crap. Hold on. No, listen. You listen to me for a second, but
Oh, he's gone.
here's what I'm
Who
saying.
just dropped change?
That was me. I was dropping that crap.
He dropped his coin purse.
Did you hear
Yeah,
Mooch?
I
Mooch
did.
was like,
Wow.
I did. No, but people that have both are going to get it on PC. The ones that have both, like She-Wolf just said, the ones that have the rigs are going to get it on both crap.
yeah, I do. I totally agree with that. I mean,
Mooch, you ever see War Games, bro?
yes, I have.
You know that when they're playing checkers at the end,
Yes.
and what does the computer say to him?
It's besides. Would you like to play a game?
You know, the only winning move is to not play Destiny.
Is to not play. Right.
That's my move.
That's a good,
it.
great
The only
point,
winning move is to
Rand.
not play Destiny 2.
Unfortunately, when everybody's playing,
Right. I mean, here's what I think. I do like Destiny. And the thing I like about it, though, and unfortunately, here's something I do have to speak to real quick before we end the show. The problem is that, yeah, listen, you guys all that have rigs, and I'm not talking to just She-Wolf and GKB. You know, all you guys that are going to have rigs and you're going to double dip. Guys, let me tell you something. You're throwing $65 away because you're going to come back to the console. Or you're going to go to the place where you have your friends. Destiny, the thing about Destiny that means the most to me that crap hasn't leaped onto yet is that it's all about where your friends in the community are that you enjoy playing these same missions over and over with. So when you get on and Destiny blows your mind on PC, but you're there with Jimmy J. Changa and Sam Smith 1327, that's not the same as when you were there with your friends doing the fire team. And you might be like, this is really great, but Jimmy Changa's making another Jimmy Changa.
He's
you know, it's like,
why is the guy standing there?
you know, I mean, you're missing the point. Anybody that doesn't know Destiny, fine, go fall for the PC thing. But people that have been playing it for so long, you're missing the lure of what Destiny is, and it is to experience this with your friends. And all my friends are playing on console. So listen, it's within my means that I can go build a $2,000 rig tomorrow. But I'm not going to take a $60 game and make it $2,060. That doesn't make any sense. And I understand you might go, well, I have a rig, so I'm going to do that. That's fine. You already have the rig, but you are blowing $65 because the minute you get past playing with J.R. Smith 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, you're going to realize that you're going to want to come back and play with your friends because the game just doesn't mean the same.
well, you know what? I'm going to be playing with South until Phil Spencer comes on. And
That's so great. That's so true. No,
Really?
Jeremy just gave me a flashback. That is so true, Sal. Sal, they would be playing with us and be like, Mooch, this is what you do, bro. This is how you do it. And all of a sudden, you'd be like, whoop. He was gone. I was like, where the fuck did South go?
Like a fart in the wind, I'm gone.
Like a fart in the wind. He was going. Listen, everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. Tonight was a great show. What a great show this was. I mean, we had people dipping in, dipping out. It was fantastic. This is what it's all about, guys. We talked a little bit of hardware. We talked a little bit of politics and gaming, and we talked some games. And we're going to lead into this with a plug for GRG, and also we're going to be doing some streaming in a little while as well. So let me do a quick outro so everybody can get something to eat before we head out to Mixer. Crap, let me start with you because you have a decently long outro like I do.
Hey, Crap Gamer here. Go check out my videos. I think I had one drop. Oddly, I forgot, and I had it drop during the middle of the show, so go check that out after.
Sabotage.
Yeah, I mean, like I usually try to do it before on Fridays, but I forgot. So, yeah, check that out. MNC Morning Sunday.
Yes.
We're streaming right after this. Other than that, man, thanks for having me on. Well, I'm always on, but yeah, rack them up.
Appreciate it, Crap. Southbound, how about you, bro? Where can we find you? And can we get you to come into a Mixer chat? Can we do it?
Hey, don't even start that shit because that fucking sent you. How many messages last week?
I didn't see them.
I'm
playing the game.
Can I get a message? Can I get an invite? Can I get an invite?
I'm going to hit you up. Wait till you see tonight.
Yeah, $5 in. Oh, sorry, dude. I didn't see that.
I'm going to blow your shit up tonight. You're going to get invites every 5 minutes.
You should just go through me. Seems everyone else usually just goes through me if they need to talk to somebody.
That's right.
Like I'm up on their ass. Like, hey, you need to go talk to this person. Let's go.
Everything was all locked down. You know what I mean? I was like, damn.
We got you. Southie, you're with me tonight, bro.
Monday night, TXR.
Yes, yes. Without the oops, awesome, bro.
They're the
Awesome.
best podcast.
Hey, wait. TXR still on?
Oh, Jeremy. Rand, Jeremy, come on.
Hey, Jeremy, Sea of Thieves is going to be awesome.
Don't get him started. It's supposed to be an outro.
I know.
Jeremy will go on for an hour. GKB, where can we find you, bro? And I know you'll be on Mixer soon as well.
Absolutely. Going to be on Mixer with Mooch and all of them. You can find me at Gamers Knows Best on YouTube and Twitter. Big shout out to the CC fam, and we'll see you next time, guys.
Awesome. Clowns, how about you? Where can we find you? And where is the Boston Hammer? He is coming to Crossfire. He did write me again today.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how many people are on the panel to get the Boston Hammer on here. But other than that, every Thursday night you can see Inferno, myself, Assassin, and Zebraflies for guys recorders. Usually about 7 or 7:30 p.m.
Shout out to Assassin too. We love Assassin. He was fantastic in last week's Mixer show. Hopefully he shows up again tonight. Jeremy the Downer. Jeremy, listen, man. You are a very good friend. I love hanging out with you in the DMs, love chatting with you when we game, and I'm so glad you came on tonight. Really put a smile on the Mooch's face. I'm sure the Mooch Maniacs loved it too. Where can people find you on Twitter, bro?
No, you know what I'll be doing? I'll be watching you guys. I'm out.
So great. There it is, folks. You can find Jeremy when you find Mooch. All right, that's where he's at. No, Jeremy, thank you so much, bro. Always good to have you. And Rand, I'll hear all episode. I can't thank you enough.
Mm-hmm.
Your intake and your input is awesome, bro. Where can we find you?
How much he loves The Last of Us.
I know. I really wanted to go into that.
Well, if you wanna find out how much I love,
I already saw.
I put up a review.
Good review
on my YouTube channel.
At least you didn't think the combat was all that.
No, because it's not.
Exactly. Fuck that combat.
But the story and Joel and Ellie, oh my god, dude.
I wanted to punch Joel right in the face.
You know, I finished Uncharted 1.
Hey, Crab, have you ever learned the zipper?
Oh,
I know, right? Yeah. I finished Uncharted 1, and it was a bag of meh.
Yeah.
I'm on Uncharted 2 right now, and it is much better than Uncharted 1.
Yep. Yes.
I'm waiting for Jeremy to fucking buy a game that I've been telling him to fucking buy for a week now.
What do you want, buddy? I've been waiting to use that. The PlayStation 4 Pro I have downstairs. I swear to God, I use it as a coaster. What do you want to play?
I'm
all about it, Rand.
No, I mean, it's just that if I buy the game, Jeremy won't be able to play it. So that's why I want Jeremy to play it. So we both
want
play
Jeremy to buy it.
Game share. No, I mean, I'll give him the money, but he's being a little baby about it.
I said
I wish I could hire him on TXR so I can fire him again.
Oh.
but all joking aside, though, watch Rand. He's an amazing talent, up and coming talent. I'm not kissing his ass. Come on.
No, you don't do that, Jerry. You just don't.
Well, thanks for having me on, Mooch.
No,
I know
Rand,
sometimes it's the Friday is a little bit hard for me, but I enjoy being on the show. So thanks for having me.
Oh, listen, I always ask you. It's an open door invite. You're one of the first people that started coming on regularly when I started the show. So it's an open door invite. No hard feelings. Understand you have a lot of stuff going on, and you're doing daily content now, which is awesome. And I do want to have you on though, because I do want to talk about your PlayStation experience coming from the years of absence that you had with the unit, and I thought that would be good, but that'll be for another show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, whenever there's a next Friday, I'll make sure that we definitely throw that in. It was in my plans for tonight, but the show kind of picked up legs and took off on its own. But thanks, Rand. I appreciate it. Everyone can find Rand at TXR on Monday nights. I did a little plug for you there, buddy. Hope you don't mind.
Thank you.
Except for not this past Monday.
Just gave me shit for spoiling the ending of Last of Us. It's a 4-year-old game, dude.
I know.
That's what I just tweeted. I just messaged.
When Rand showed the end, I was like, is he going to get shit for this? I was watching it, and I was like, wait, people really should know how this has already ended. He cannot get in trouble for this right now. But, spoiler. I thought you would have put spoilers in, like parentheses or something. No, great review, Rand. Look forward to your content every day. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, the queen of Mixer, She-Wolf. What's up?
The queen of Mixer. Obviously, you can find me on Mixer at XSheWolfX. With a U, not a no. That's pretty much for everywhere. Like, you can find me everywhere on that. There's a new podcast coming during the day. It'll be a day podcast.
Nice.
And it's called The Gaming Den. So,
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's going to be different. It's not going to be your normal podcast. So I hope you guys tune in. It'll be starting July 3rd.
It's a rip-off.
Another podcast.
It's not the
here
same
it goes.
thing. It is
It's a
not
rip-off.
like all of the what?
It's a ripoff.
Shut up! It is not a ripoff.
Hey, the afternoon morning shows are great. I love doing the show with Jez at 3 o'clock. It really,
But
Yeah,
this is going to
that
be
is cool.
this isn't going to be like the style of podcast where like we talk only about like the game.
Yeah, it's gonna
news.
be
Like,
about
this
girl
is
stuff.
actually-
Oh, so what?
No,
what
it is
nail
not going to be
color?
about girl
Gosh, you know, we
Yeah,
get it.
it's going to
I'm
be
in bed.
gaming. It's gaming related. It's not going to be like that. Jeez.
She
Stereotype
was like,
much?
so what do you think about boys? Guys.
That'll be no damn boy talk. I'll be fucking somebody else.
That's so great.
Anyways.
That is so great. No, honestly, no.
I want to hear Ryan do that voice again.
July
that was
3rd.
correct.
July 3rd, right?
July 3rd, yeah.
Looking forward to
Very
it.
cool. Very cool. No, thank you, everybody. And thanks to Tim Dog for stopping by. He went to do Xbox Uncut. So I hope he's having good success there. Guys, tune in to GRG. Our boy from BGST, our brother, K Mega, is doing his thing over there with his crew. And don't forget, in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, give us all a chance to stretch, get an adult beverage, and eat something. We're all going to be streaming Dead by Daylight and then Friday the 13th after that. It's going to be Horror Weekend on Mixer. So we'll see you guys next week, 7 o'clock Fridays. Thank you very much. Good night.